Okay, let me just get set up here. A couple people hopefully funneling in soon. The classic physique division is on stage right now. I think they're just doing routines, so they haven't done the call outs yet. Just routines. Then they'll get into call outs. Okay. Let me just get. Okay. Let me pull up the Arnold Classic on here, and I'll get you guys a link. Hopefully, if not, you can just look up Arnold Classic, and it's live. It's on the Arnold Classic website. All you have to do is put in an email, and you've got the live stream. Okay. Just this open. Make sure all my stream settings are at least somewhat correct. Okay. And then I'll put the Arnold Classic link itself for the live stream in the chat. I really don't think I'm allowed to show it. I saw somebody else showing it. I don't think that's allowed because of copyright, and I don't really want to risk it. So just in case, if you haven't got the link yet, it's going to be in chat. Okay. And let's put a poll out as well for viewers checking in. We're just going to ask who wins Classic. I think I know the results of this poll, but we're going to ask anyway. Okay. And all right. And then let's obviously, since they're just doing routines right now, let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. Delete that. That. Okay. Now we can get into what was the talk of the town, Wesley Vissers versus Ramon Dino. Um, quite even Ramon Dino, not even excuse me, Wesley Vissers not even being the winner yet. He already is the winner. He is the talk of the town. He's walking away from this with probably the biggest satisfaction. Ramon may win, but I think Wesley has proven a lot to everyone and himself too. I mean, Ramon's already won the title. I can't speak for how it feels to win one or even two, but Wesley just be able to prove to himself that he can do this at this level, at even this higher level, because he's been top six and he's kind of been shafted for a while, I gotta admit. But now he's knocking on the door of top three. He will probably be Urs and Breon, which means he is the top three in the world on paper, because Breon was fourth, Urs was third at the Olympia. So even if he doesn't beat Ramon tonight, which I think he will, he's going to be third in the world on paper. So, let me make sure there's nothing in chat. Good man, are you going to show the live stream here? I'm not exactly sure that I can show the live stream here. I think there may be a copyright issue. Um, it's all in that link in the description, in the comment section. So if you want to turn that on, turn me off. It's whatever. I just want to make sure bodybuilding is spread around. So it's in the comments. It's in the chat, completely free. So they're still doing the routines. I want to break this down pose by pose again, just in case you missed my analysis with Mark's Max Muscle and myself, or maybe you missed the live stream with just me. I want to break this down pose by pose, and we have some good high quality pictures out now. So in the entire thesis of my comparison here, I see this going one of two ways. They lean into bodybuilding more, and they pick Wesley because Wesley is huge. He's 6'3", and he's whatever the weight cap is. It's probably over 250 or something around 250, and he carries mass really well. Like he can just get massive. Like this is a big 250, whatever it is. So they can lean into bodybuilding qualities, maybe go a little more for mass. Okay. Or they say, I want this division to be a little more classic, and that would be Ramon. So keep that dynamic in mind as we go through this. Okay. So in the front double, um, I like again, if this was an open bodybuilding contest, this is Wesley Vissers all day. So Wesley wins the arms, clearly better peaks. I have him winning through the legs. The one important area where I don't have him winning, and this is a crucial one, is the torso. Um, his lats very wide, but in very abruptly. So you have huge palm tree out, the waist falls off. There's not really any semblance of good taper, good V shape. Ramon Dino has that better flowing V shape, and that's a crucial win. Even though he loses in the arms and the legs, that could be the factor to spin this. Me personally, I wouldn't say that. I think Wesley Vissers is classic enough in this pose, even though I personally think he's a bit boxy. He better legs, better arms. So at that point, it's just becoming undeniable. And that's a word that, you're probably going to hear me say a lot between these two, because I think Wesley has done enough that he's just undeniable for this title. So in this one, I would probably give this one to Wesley. I can understand for Ramon. Earlier today, I probably would have Ramon winning. I think I did actually, but now I think Wesley has grown on me, and I'd probably give him this pose. And then the side chest, I think this one's a little more conclusive than the last one. I've never liked Ramondino through the pecs. He's always been a little bit too narrow. Um, so Wesley Vissers comes in with an absolutely humongous chest, probably more detailed. I'd have to be there close because I mean, this is a great picture, but I'd really like to see it up close. Um, More mass through the chest, probably more detail. The side leg is about even in terms of size. Ramon probably takes it, but Wesley is hanging right there in terms of size and has striated glutes. And then in the arm and delt, Wesley has more size. So and then more overall size from this angle as a whole. I don't see how Ramon wins this pose. I think this is a cut and dry victory, even more so than the front double was. So I would definitely give this one to Wesley because in the side chest, even in classic physique, we lean more towards looking for bodybuilding aspects, more mass from the side, more thickness, more completeness. Not so much the flow because you're from the side, there really isn't a whole lot of flow. So I think this is a pose where what Wesley does very well in, regardless if we're of an open criteria or a classic criteria. let's see. I wanted to find back pose. We can watch a video after all that, but I want to look at just pictures first if I can. Perfect. Okay. So, in the back, initially this morning, I really thought Ramon was winning this, and I thought this was a clearer win than I'm thinking right now. But I think at this rate, um, Wesley certainly does enough that this is not a strong win for Ramon. Um, the thing that bugs me about Wesley, the big flaw on this one, the big mark, is the leg stance. He really pops one knee out. He's not really putting one leg back and really flexing the hamstring. He has very long legs, so it's kind of awkward for him to do anything with them. But he's chosen to do this. I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice, but I mean he's going to do it. Um, Ramon, on the other hand, better pose in the lower body. Still wish he was flexing those hams a little bit more. But I think the better lower body as a whole, just because he has shorter legs, he was able to fill them out more. So I'd probably give him the lower body, even though he's not necessarily better in cuts in terms of cuts or in terms of size. So in the lower body, I think Ramon wins. It's more like he loses less. Um, and then in the upper body, the back, um, straight away, I have Wesley through the arms and shoulders. Great peaks on those biceps, and those delts are splintering with detail. And the back, very wide. I would probably give Ramon a little bit more detail and density, and probably wins through the mid and lower back. But I think Wesley's a lot stronger than I initially thought. So I could even give Wesley the win here, which is crazy because Ramon's back I've always really liked. I've always said it was stronger even than Chris Bumstead's, but now I'm not too sure. I think I will still give Ramon the win. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that's not a strong win at all by any means, and that means a lot. Like when you're getting close to Ramon Dino in the back, that says a lot about your physique. So, and now the absent thighs, and technically they're both in a vacuum, but that's okay. I judge vacuums and my classic comparisons. So in the quads, yet again, Wesley Vissers wins, but Ramon has the better upper body flow, the deeper vacuum, and again that prettier, more aesthetic V shape, that V taper. Wesley, a bit like a rectangle, and that's a rectangle doesn't have taper. Um, Lats are very wide, but his waist is kind of wide too, so you have like a slight slant, immediate falling down into the waist. In Ramon Dino's case, you have a tight cinched waist, and the lats are still very wide, so you have that taper. Um, I think in terms of the vacuum, Ramon wins, but in terms of the leg, Wesley definitely takes it. And that's interesting to balance because you have one guy winning the upper body, one guy winning the lower body. But overall, for the vacuum, if this was open, I would have Wesley. But in terms of classic, I got to go with Ramon. Just for, I mean, what is classic all about but better lines and better shape? Again, you can look at this through a bodybuilding lens and it instantly becomes a Wesley Vissers win. And that's kind of how close this is because looking at it through one lens, it's not that close. But when you see both lenses and you're looking at them through them together, it becomes a lot closer because you can see both sides and how close they really are. But one more pose. It's the favorite classic pose. I mean, that's kind of up in the air. I mean, in terms of posing in general, Wesley Vissers, even though Ramon kind of improves a little bit at each show, I still think Wesley Vissers is the better poser. And this is just a still picture. You can't see the small mistakes Ramon was making throughout the transitions, throughout the comparison. Wesley Vissers doesn't really make mistakes besides that weird stance in the rear double, which isn't it's an intentional mistake. Um, but Ramon, he makes unintentional mistakes, which are even worse, in my opinion. Um, so I always include overall posing into this favorite classic pose category because you're always comparing apples to oranges. So I would give Wesley this, um, which means he would win 3 poses to Ramon's 3. And you can throw the back in there. That would be a 4-1 win for Wesley. And you could probably throw in the vacuum and abs too. I mean, that you don't have to stretch very far to get to that point. So let's now watch a video of the whole call out with a focus on Wesley and Ramon. See if we can get a clearer picture. I mean, Wesley just sticks out. Absolutely. Like my eyes are just drawn to Wesley. I mean, he's 6'3" and a big 250. I'd still have him winning the front double for sure. His side chest, same kind of story. Ramon's too flat from the pecs. Now the back, this is going to be interesting to see. And for the record, I think Breon Ainsley actually does win this back post as a whole. I think his lower body looks great. He's actually flexing us properly. The arms and delts look great, and the back is packed full of detail. But and from that angle, I probably would have had Wesley with the slight edge. Now I do want to see if they hit the actual abs. In terms of the abs and thighs when they were crunching down, I would give it to Ramon. I'd still have him winning the vacuum too. And then great classic poses. We're gonna run through them again. Again, eyes are just drawn to Wesley. Massive. But Ramon probably wins to the upper body taper and the upper body flow. It's simple as that. And in the side chest, the more I see it, the more it becomes absolutely no question. The width from the side, the thickness from the side, the pecs, everything is going to Wesley. Now the back, I definitely want to see this again. Pulling back for the Christmas tree. Both guys are shredded. I'd honestly maybe even say Wesley's a tad drier. Maybe. Now, in this angle, I do probably prefer Ramon just for a little more detail. If this was a lat spread, Wesley would probably win, though. Abs and thighs, sucking up to a vacuum. I think in totality, I am more comfortable after seeing this video giving the abs and thighs to Ramon. And favorite classic pose, it's just a wash, basically. It always is. I don't think Ramon is necessarily having too many poses in his repertoire that he can actually use. Okay. So all in all, I think this is close, and that definitely worries me a little for um, Wesley because I think if it is close, they'll go with the safe option. But I asked you guys on my channel who you had. And I think 70% of you said Wesley, so maybe it's not as close as I'm making it out to be. I see the arguments for both, but I think Wesley's got this. I definitely want him to. I can see them going with Ramon just because he's second in the world, and he has that status already. It's tough. Okay, so they're on stage right now. All the routines are done. They're getting everybody back on stage. Okay. So it looks like we will have a 4-man call out again, 4-man top call out because they have 6 guys in this call out. So that means we'll have 4 in the later call out. So those same 4 guys from prejudging will all be on lock for the top 4 in one shape or another, depending on where the placings may actually fall. Speaking of where the other placings may fall, I know we talked about Wesley and Ramon. I'm thinking Breon can beat Urs here. I'll go as far as to say Breon should beat Urs here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Showed up at prejudging with a big gap between him and Breon. Big gap. Urs was flat. His posing was a bit off, and his color was a bit off. He looked very murky in terms of the tan. It didn't really have that polish, the literal polish, the little shine, the gleam that the other competitors had. Um, and I thought Breon is always the more complete guy. His legs are a bit fuller now. So, I mean, what's the argument? Better back, better arms, probably a better chest because Urs was a little flat. I mean, better legs. You can't even say that from certain angles because Breon has enough fullness now and certainly enough separation that he's at least close to Urs in terms of overall quality. Not size, I'm not saying that. But I think Breon as a whole absolutely should finally place over Urs again. Last time he did that was in 2021, and I think he's been getting shafted ever since. Anyway, we have the top call out here on stage. It is from shuffling around. It is from left to right, Breon, Ramon, Wesley, and Urs. Here's a video of Urs. Just definitely not looking like himself, even down to the haircut. Well, let's see if I can't get a closer look. Let's see here. I do want to say Urs's back was probably improved. I mean, credit where it's due. I do think his back was improved, which is odd. Yeah, you can see there. I think there's a touch more meat on that back. It could be the way he's posing because he was really pulling the shoulder blades back. It's hard to see on this live stream. I think the morning live stream is a little bit better in terms of clearness and backdrop. But I think they just did one round. Just one round of comparisons. That's it. They did one round. So you can read into that a little bit. Um, it's oh, okay. No, they don't have one round. Now we're having a top two call out with Wesley and Ramon. So this is it. Battle for the top two. Very interesting. I love to see a good two-man call out. I'll put that video back up. Um, I think Ramon, let's see. It's very hard. I think the live stream from this morning a lot clearer, so it's going to be a little difficult for me to tell you if they improved or not, what the differences are from prejudging and finals. Side chest, I give it to Wesley yet again. And the back, maybe initially, just what I'm seeing, I think Wesley may have filled in a little bit more. Doesn't look as sharp. Could be the live stream. Absolutely could be the live stream. Yeah, but given the slight difference, I think maybe uh, a touch fuller from prejudging and a touch more watery. And that's not like leaning into watery. Um, that's more just like he's not as dry. Wesley's just massive. Like he's got a couple inches on Ramon, and it that may help him. I think this can come down to the wire. I think Ramon may be improved for finals. I have to say, I think it looks a touch fuller, and that probably was the plan because uh, Wesley's just so huge. So now they got to pose down. That was interesting. The judges made the decision quick. They must have already had it, set from prejudging, and they just confirmed it as the confirmation round. So it confirmed pretty quickly, probably what they gathered from prejudging. I don't know if that necessarily favors Wesley or Ramon more, but there was a top two call out. So at minimum, Wesley is second, and that's got to be a great feeling for him. Last time he was here, I think it was the 2018 Arnold. He was 10th or 9th. It may have been 2019 Arnold. few years ago, over 5 years ago at this point, 5 years or more, he was 10th at the Arnold. And now he is pushing for the title. And he's beaten Urs, beaten Breon, and potentially beaten Ramon. That's like he's knocking on the door of being the one to challenge Chris at this point. And that's not unrealistic to say because he's beaten all these guys today. He's beaten a very good version of Breon. He hasn't beaten the best version of Urs, but I mean, Urs is, I mean, these classic guys, they change. You know, they can come in off, but they don't come in that off. Like if an open guy comes in off, his potential to come in off is a lot bigger because he doesn't have to make weight. He's at least classic guys that kind of have a safety net almost. He still didn't beat the best Urs, but I think Wesley could have beaten a better Urs. I think so with this kind of package for Wesley. Yeah. So my final predictions before they do this the awards. That's what I was looking for. I want Wesley to win. I'm pulling for him, but I something in my gut just tells me it's probably going to be Ramon. But let's see. I'm going to turn this volume up. I don't know if they're going directly to awards now or if they'll hold on and then come back for awards later. Okay. Oh, okay. So classic awards will be after open. Now we're getting into open. So that concludes the classic finals. It is time for open. Okay. It looks like I'm just gonna go ahead and show the stream. Just give me 1 second. Because I see other people doing it.
Looks like Justin's command.
Okay. It's loading up, and I'll put the stream on. It's loading up, and I'll put the street. Okay. I'll put
James. One of the bigger guys on stage, but still right. Details.
okay. Is that suiting everyone's fancy? Is that suiting everyone's fancy? Okay. I think that should be good. God forbid I get copyright striked, but this is not the actual call out. This is just a preliminary. They're just getting the first glance, basically. Okay, first one out is Akeem Williams. This is a big dark horse at the show. Everyone was wondering. Well, he had a couple shoulder injuries, shoulder surgeries, I should add. A shoulder surgery, and he wasn't competing 2023 at his best. So he says. Oh yeah, definitely got a lot of side leg detail. Crazy monster side chest for Akeem, but the back always holds him back. I definitely want to see him from the rear. I mean, these side shots are just great for Akeem. I mean, he's feeling it. I think the live stream quality isn't the best tonight. It was better this morning. Okay. Just from what I can see, that looks certainly like something. Back, yeah, that's going to hold him back. That may, even if he looks great from the front, I mean, he won't be top three, maybe top three, but he's not any higher than that simply because guys are going to be more complete than that. But I can't really get a good look at his conditioning here. He's not. Okay, Antoine Vaillant. I had him very high in my predictions. I had him in like sixth. Um, I don't know. I don't know about all that, but maybe I bought into the hype. We need to see more upper body size from Antoine in the shreds, and he looks pretty shredded. He looks pretty gnarly, pretty nasty. That's a good side chest. Now from the back, this is important. I want to see more back thickness and just overall more size, even more width, honestly. I think maybe a little there. They took a while off, so you have to you got to raise your expectations a little bit. Great legs as always. Legs were never going to be an issue. And he looks to be very conditioned, very conditioned. And that's going to help him if any of these guys up front are off. All right. And then Justin Rodriguez. Man, where do I start with Justin? I mean, the midsection. I don't want to say Justin's done, but he's done placing where he used to place. I'll go ahead and say that. Maybe he looks a little better tonight than he has in the past because 2022, after the Arnold and Boston Pro, that was probably his lowest point, and he has a dead cat bounce almost. But I mean, still, he's a shadow of his former self. Not the best conditioning from the rear for sure. Make sure you guys like the stream, by the way, if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see. I mean, Justin, he has an affinity for a certain substance, and he's has a lot of that substance in his delts, probably his quads at this point, and his triceps. He put a side tricep, a side pose, chest pose up, and there was like oily looking things in his tricep. But anyway, here's Rafael Brandao. We need to see more size from him, especially in the upper legs are fine. We want to see more size in the upper body. Raphael, I think I'm going to need to see him together with the other guys because Raphael, I can always say he looks great on his own. Like I say, I think that looks improved, but I really want to see him next to the other guys because it's all about how that size looks next to the other guys. Back, I could say right now, I think the back needs to be a little more dense, a little more dense, but that will come a time. He's still kind of, I think he just turned 30, so. And I think he said he was up 20 pounds from the Olympia after his carb up, 20 pounds from 2022 Olympia. And he's still maintaining his great lines, great quads. I think the quads are even bigger. That's actually what I noticed. Yeah. I mean, Raphael looks great as always. I just need to see him, next to other guys. Okay, now here's John De La Rosa. A lot of guys have written John off, and I mean, that's okay. That's okay. The thing about John, he's complete. Shorter guy, but he's complete. And he's also up 10 to 12 pounds, he said. And some pretty good lines, mind you. Pretty good lines for a guy that's carrying this much mass at this kind of height because he's a bit of a shorter guy. But you're not going to find a weak point on this guy. Some people say the legs. It's just the way they insert, they look narrow. They really aren't that narrow, though, I have to say. Like, I don't, and I mean, if that's what people are picking apart, that's pretty good. Back, I think it's pretty good. John is another guy that's going to get either get exposed for his stature and lack of overall size when he gets next to other people, or he'll expose them with his superior completeness. Again, he's one of those guys that I really have to see next to other people. Does he get lost in the mix? Maybe not. We'll see. But it looks like he's bringing a good standalone package for sure. Okay, now here comes Samson Dauda. The main thing I'm looking for is shredded. I think his back is honestly good enough to beat Hotties. We're just looking for the shreds. And I really need to see him turn around. I need to see the glutes. Already, he looks on track with 2023. And that's a stellar package. And he was not like the 2023 Arnold as he was at the 2023 Olympia. The 2023 Olympia, not a good showing for him. He still managed to place third, but his conditioning was off. Yeah, from the side here, I still don't think we're seeing that next level conditioning, maybe a little improved. I don't think we're quite seeing next level conditioning from Samson yet. I don't see glutes, striations in the glutes. Back, little better, I would say. Delt's a little bit bigger. Yeah, not a stellar Christmas tree. Overall, I think this is going to start coming down to does 2023 Arnold Samson beat Adi this year? Because that's what I'm seeing here. This looks like a 2023 Arnold Classic Samson Dowda. And the stomach, I gotta say, guys, his stomach looks a little bit bigger. I know some people aren't going to say that because he's like the beacon of aesthetics or whatever. His stomach looks a little bit bigger, and he needs to keep that in check. Raphael should crack the top five. I just need to see him next to other guys. I don't think that is honestly he should probably crack the top three just based on what we know. Up 20 pounds from the Olympia, that's it's hard to argue against, but we'll see how it stacks up to the other guys. Now here comes Hottie. He's I mean it's Hottie. He's on. Quads look a little bit bigger, I must say. Quad sweeps look a little bigger. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's the angle or what, but those quads look absolutely massive. Because he's always had kind of narrow sweeps and he's always kind of been, I don't want to say top heavy, but he's always been very wide through the shoulders. He's more of a Y frame than an X frame, which is okay. Some people like that. But now he looks like an X frame to me. This is a good hottie. And I mean, in terms of bodybuilding, Hottie's already won this show. Like, in terms of conditioning, Samson's not there. In terms of muscularity, Samson's not there. He can get kind of close because he's a bigger guy. He's 300 pounds, but he's also taller. So he has more frame to fill out. I think Hottie's back probably looks a little bit better, a little bit thicker, I would say, a little bit fuller. Yeah. Hottie should win this. Hottie should win this. Absolutely. I'd be very upset if he doesn't. I don't really like the whole shape argument. I get it. And I still have the sneaking suspicion that they may end up going that way. I'll be pulling for Hottie Night, especially if it looks like this. Yeah. So I'm just picking the brains of some of the other bodybuilding YouTubers. We have, a couple of guys. We have a group chat behind the scenes. Um, the consensus is Samson close second. I think we all have Hottie winning this. to be honest. James, this actually looks like a good package from James, I gotta say. He looks disgusting. And that's a compliment. I want to see that grainy look. And it looks like he's pretty full. Um, and I want to see James next to other guys too, because he's tall and he has a lot of size. A lot of size. But he looks pretty nasty. Yeah, I think Samson's conditioning is going to hurt him ultimately. It's not a striated glutes contest, but I mean at the end of the day, the conditioning he showed up in is not what you should be showing up in. And I mean, how hard? Okay, Marcelo DeAngelis, his Arnold Classic debut, his second open show, second pro show. Mm, but James is narrow. James is a little narrow. And that's gonna hurt him because it hurts him in the back and it hurts him in poses like the rear double because he's not as imposing. Um, but I mean, take this for example. I think Horse is looking a little off here. I think James is going to capitalize with that grainy, nasty kind of condition over guys like this. But Horse needs to watch himself because if he doesn't peak correctly, which it looks to me like could have peaked better, he's fighting an uphill battle. He doesn't have a rear double. His posing kind of sucks. Quite frankly, it does suck. Um, yeah, he doesn't have the details. It could just be the lack of HD quality, but we'll see. We'll see. Now Mo Shaban, a guy I got to be honest, I forgot was competing until now. Waist looks good. He's keeping those abs glued to the spine, as Milo Sarshev would say. Still a little bottom heavy. Yeah, it's just with Mo, it's as simple as this. He's getting outclassed. And that's not disrespectful. It's just whether he can't ever get there, whether he's not there yet, whatever it may be, at this given point in time, he's just getting outclassed. Honestly, based on what I saw, though, I still think he can beat Justin. Justin's stomach looked a little fat. Conditioning from the rear, not that good on Justin. For Mo, it looks half decent in the upper body, and lower body, at least on the live stream, doesn't look as good. I think that's close to all the competitors. We've seen everyone, I think. After Mo, sounds right. Okay, yeah. So it's time for the call outs. And Bob's going to start announcing. We'll see if we have a two-man call out. We'll see if maybe Raphael can sneak up into the top three and make a three-man call out and maybe try to push who's ever in that second place, which I think would be Samson. Okay. So top call out. Here we go. It's a big one. I love how we actually have a view of the judging table right there. I think bodybuilding judging is like it's hid behind a curtain and we almost never see it. And it's good to see. All right. So in the middle, well, I guess I'll go left to right. James, Antoine, Samson. Oh, they're switching. Let me restart. James, John De La Rosa, Samson, Hadi, Raphael, and Antoine. So we got a six-man call out here, and I imagine they'll narrow this down initially. Front double, Hadi, all day long. Now that those quad sweeps are improved and his arms are better than Samson, Samson cuts good outline, but he doesn't have that quality and that muscle mass. I gotta go with Hadi there. Samson's stomach looks a little bigger. I don't like him in the front lat. I'd honestly prefer Raphael in the front lat to him. Good to see John up here potentially in the top four as of right now. Antoine, too, it looks like he's cracked the top six. Not too many people predicted that. I changed at the end. I did put Antoine in sixth in my predictions. Yeah, this is a great lineup. Absolutely. And props to the two Olympians for putting their butts on the line here. Because it's, I mean, especially like if you were to get if either one of these guys were to get beat by Raphael, for example, that'd be embarrassing. Like, that's just is what it is. Because Raphael hasn't competed in a year and he's only been 10th at the Olympia. So if Samson or Hadi got beat by Raphael, I mean, they'd risk some major embarrassment. But I love to see guys compete. The more the better, as long as they can handle it. James looks great in that side tricep. He's been really practicing that one. James's stomach, I don't know if it's washed out as much as it is his abs just suck. His abs have never been the deepest. Um, so it that kind of has that washed out appearance. Most muscular. Samson looks good, looks full. I prefer Hottie for the cuts, the midsection, and that muscle maturity. So they're just going to run those guys once. I imagine they'll bring a few of them back though for another call out. So your top six in no particular order was John De La Rosa, James Hollingshead, Antoine Vaillant, Samson Dauda, Raphael Brandao, and Hadi Chupin. That's a pretty good top six. So that means your seventh through 10th spots um, would be Moshe Bon, Justin Rodriguez, Akeem Williams, and Orson D. Orson D, as of right now, appears to be out of the top six. He didn't peak on this day. And Akeem's getting moved to the middle with Horse. I think Akeem could beat Horse. The thing is, from the front, I'm probably going to prefer Akeem. And from the back, they both suck. So it's a race to the bottom there. In the front, probably Akeem. I think that can go probably either way. Front lat spread, I kind of like Horse here because he's wider across the shoulders. But, you know, I think Akeem's all right there. Side shots. This is interesting. Both guys are very thickly developed. Horse is a little more hamstring drop. Keem has the cuts. Now in the back, like I said, it's just a race to the bottom here. Thank you, Project Bodybuilding. You're amazing. Thank you, Ashwin. I appreciate you stopping in. Oh, but in the back, I don't know if you guys just saw that, but Horse is rounding his shoulders forward and like popping he's like hitting the rear double like a rear lat spread. And you can't do that because they're built to show two different things. So huge difference between line one and two. Yeah, yeah. I still think Akeem honestly beats Horse. Like when Akeem is beating you in the back, I'm. I mean, there is an adage that you're only as good as your weakest pose, and there's probably some truth to that. But and now Justin is switching places with Horse. Now Horse is on the outside of the bottom four. And I thought this would happen. I had Horse in fifth in my predictions. I think we all kind of bought into the hype, but man, did he screw this one up. Not that he won't have chances. He'll have plenty of chances going forward. And he'll have a chance to rectify some of what he did here at tomorrow night's night show. But he definitely messed this one up. Or his coach, however you want to wherever you want to put the blame. It is ultimately the coach, but yeah. Yeah, Horse and D has the worst. Like that is abysmal. That is abysmal. Akeem is the only one up there, only one on that line that showed up. Yeah, yeah. And Akeem is missing a rear double pose. But I mean, still, like that's just not enough. These guys are just simply not as good as even a 75, 80% Akeem. Yeah, Horse, he has good shots, good body parts, but and he's watching himself in the screen in the back. Not the most professional thing, but it's funny. Horse definitely worked on his posing a little bit. Last time he was really shaky. This time, making some mistakes. He's still confident up there. I don't. He's not dejected. He's not disappointed. A lot of people had him in the top five, but and maybe that could have got to his head, but now he seems to still be in high spirits. Okay, so that was the seventh through fourth spots. Now we're gonna have another call out. Amir has the Wolf number one. I think Hottie should win this. Yep, top two call out. Top two call out. So here we go. Samson versus Hottie. This is this is a great package for Hottie. I'll have to wait to see HD pictures. This may be the best package since 2019 Hottie, and 2019 Hottie was spectacular, honestly. And Samson, I would say he's most comparable to the 2023 Arnold, but maybe a little bit softer. I don't know. I think it's a bit. It's just I don't know what the issue is. It must be a genetic thing, or maybe it's a hubris thing with him and his coach because Milos thinks he's kind of above it. He's kind of like, well, bodybuilding is not a strided glutes contest. True, but at some point, you need to wake up and see that your guy needs to be more conditioned. It's as simple as that. No one's asking for peeled glutes. We're not just looking at the glutes. We don't want to see thick skin in the back. We want to see thin skin in the side leg. We want to see deeply separated abs, things of which Samson are missing, especially next to Hottie. I love Samson, but Hottie is on point. I had Samson winning this initially. I was always going to root for Hottie, but I thought they would go with Samson because of the shape factor. But here, I think he's too far behind in conditioning. And that stomach, it's not a bubble gut, but being a 300-pound man, he should lock that in. Hopefully, they run these guys again. I want to see. I mean, Hottie's not going to fade though. So they're not going to run him again. So that was the top two call out. I have Samson winning this. I didn't track the poses or anything. So those are your top two. Samson and Hottie are in the top two. Now we're going to see the battle from third to how many guys they got here. They moved Akeem up. Yeah, they moved Akeem up. So now we have one, two, three, four, five guys here. So this is going to be the battle of third through seventh. They moved Raphael in the middle. Raphael probably takes third. He doesn't look so out of place anymore. Legs are massive on John's right there next to him. Antoine is too. So I mean, you got to think those guys are probably four or five, depending on how you switch them around. Akeem breaking his way into the top seven, potentially top six. James, I'd watch him to see if he fades because James he needs to eat a lot, and so a lot of activity, including posing, may make him fade. So I'd definitely wash him, but I think Raphael may have a problem with fading too, just given metabolism. James's back looks gnarly. Even though it's a bit narrow, it looks pretty gnarly. And honestly, these guys all kind of have weaker backs besides John. So James would be like second in that call out. I did buy into the Antoine hype, and I'm glad I did. Antoine seemingly is top five. Antoine is third. James's abs are done. I mean, they're fine when he flexes him, but it's just I don't. I'm going to maintain that I don't think he's washed out. It's simply that his abs just kind of suck. It is what it is. His abs have always been very shallow, and that's it. Antoine's abs, even though they're not the most symmetrical, very, very dry looking. Now they're switching James to fourth. Well, into the middle, closer to Raphael. Raphael maintains to be in the middle, which means he's probably in third. This front double, I got to go with Raphael or even Akeem. It's a structure pose, and as long as you have good arms and good legs in there, which Raphael and Akeem do, it's a done deal. Lat spread, James and Raphael. Raphael takes us though. Now on the side shots, this is where Akeem and James should really step it up. Raphael, you can definitely tell if there's improvements in the side chest. We see more delt thickness, more chest thickness. And then the back yet again. I think James, as narrow as he is, he brings the detail, which is what we asked for in a rear double. So in the side try. Yet now that Raphael's added a little bit of size, he's not getting bullied. Maybe he doesn't look out of place. I'll say that. Showing off the quads. All these guys have good quads. Even John. Some people may not like the shape of him. I think John is in fourth, honestly. As long as he doesn't fade, he's complete, he's shredded. I think John is going to wind up in fourth. And right now I see James is in fifth. Okay, that's it. They may do the back four, or I guess it'd be back three at this point again. No, they have Samson and Hottie. Wow. Okay. We get another peek at this Samson and Hottie battle. So let's go front double. I got to go with Hottie. Samson looks really good, but I'm going with Hottie. He has the better legs now, which means he has a better X frame. Front lat spread. Samson's gut. He's just suck it in. It's not a bubble gut. It's thicker. I have Hottie there. In the side chest, I'd probably go with Samson just because he's so round. That is the perk of coming in full. You do look good from the side. Now in the back, Hottie. Simple as that. I mean, both of their backs, they're not that good, but Samson's is worst. And then Hottie, he's wider, wins the rear double. Side try. This is an interesting one. I've always preferred Hottie, but I see the argument for Samson. Thicker tricep and thicker from the side as a whole. And then abs and thighs, absolutely no question. There's no contest. Samson's abs are really not that good. And even that side shot that he's doing now, the twisting oblique shot that he usually does, his stomach looks a little bit bigger. And then most muscular, I see the argument for Samson. Oh, he's so imposing. He's bursting full. He's round. I prefer that muscle maturity and the width that he has and Hottie's width through the shoulders. But they're going to run him through again. I do like what Samson's doing in the rear double. I like the tilt he's rocking. I think that's a good touch. I still think Hottie's the winner here, though. Hottie wins even more so in the front lat spread. Hottie's actually very wide across the shoulders. Guys, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already. Okay. Yeah, I mean, going into this, I thought Samson would win. I thought the IFBB wants to move into a more aesthetic direction. But in order for that to happen, Samson needs to have the size, which he does. It's a done deal. Samson's 300 pounds. He's filling out his frame a lot, and it helps that he's taller. The second thing that needs to be unlocked is the conditioning. And I thought, based on the updates, Samson was really pushing for that condition. I thought he knew that he needs to bring the conditioning. He already has the shape and the size in his column. He just needs to make the conditioning close. He doesn't even need to beat Hottie in conditioning. He just needs to get close and narrow his margin. But he doesn't do that. So now he's missing shape. Well, he's not missing. He's missing a little bit of the shape because I think his stomach is a bit bigger. But that's besides the point. He's missing conditioning for sure. And I think his shape has been better. So what's the argument here? Hottie wins in muscularity, conditioning. I have Hottie winning here. Samson's lats look a lot better from the front, and Hottie's waist looks tiny. Yeah, absolutely. I think this may be the best Hottie since 2019, which is by far one of my favorite physiques. My favorite version of Hottie, um, in one of my favorite physiques. Okay, so that was the two-man call out. Are they okay? I think that may have concluded prejudging. Yeah, that was it. Oh, I've liked and subbed. Hottie has it. Yeah, I think Hottie has this. I think he does too. Simply the equation. Shape can pull you ahead if your mass and conditioning are close. Samson's missing too much condition for a shape to pull him over the edge. Simple as that. Simple as that. Let's see if there's any high resolution pictures out yet. Okay, give me a second. I'll see if we have any high def pictures on. Okay. There doesn't seem to be any pictures out yet. Seem to be a bit early, but we still have classic awards to go to. Almost forgot about that. I definitely will put a poll in chat. Hottie's quads are out of this world. He's pumped. Yeah, he really peaked the quads well. Really peaked the quads well. Like I said, he has a Y shaped frame more than an X shaped frame. But he's really filled those in. Okay. So it was a two-man call out. So I'll just ask you guys who's winning this. I think we all saw the same thing though. Poll is in chat. Oh no, we have a women's division out first. Let me see if anybody's available. Maybe I can bring on a guest. Okay. So they're gonna do classic awards after fitness. How odd. We'll just wait for these high def pictures to come out. Because right now we're just I'll go ahead and put the women's divisions on the screen. I mean, it's something to watch, at least. I'm not the biggest fan, and by the biggest fan, I mean I don't care at all. But see if Milos has anything. Milos is usually pretty quick with the coverage. No, not quite. We're early, guys. Here's Mark's Max Muscle is not streaming. See if he wants to come on. Mark's Max Muscle is such a delight. We'll just keep refreshing, wait for those higher quality photos. I guess we can talk about classics since it's coming up, but I kind of look for Ramon to take this at the end. I think the attitude, I just feel shifting in the wind in my bosom. Yeah, 74% of you guys are saying Hottie, which isn't too many in the stream, but I mean, yeah, once these women's divisions are over, which they may be, I mean, it looks like full top five is out there, so that must be the winner. Oh, Callum von Moger was there handing out an award. What? Interesting. I used to watch Callum von Moger all the time. That was like the first guy I got into when I was first getting into bodybuilding myself. I was some people had, Rich Piana, some people had other things. I was always watching Arnold's Blueprint to Mass and Callum von Moger's vlogs. Okay, looks like I will have a video of Raphael here. Oh, here we go. We finally got some pictures rolling in. Okay, it's just four, but you can see Samson, in terms of conditioning, that's what we've been seeing from him. Sometimes he's honestly been a little worse. I would say maybe at a show or two he's been a bit better, but this, I mean, Hottie's the conditioning king, so I'd have him winning that one. Look at Hottie's waist there. Look at that taper. I don't know what Hottie did here, but he really peaked for this show. Really peaked well for this show. And it's like he changed the way his structure just is. Rear lat spread, it's no contest. I mean, Hottie's just so wide across the shoulders and he has wide lats. What more do you want? Rear double, none of the guys are hitting it out of the park, but Hottie's at least making contact with the ball. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is a Hottie victory, and I don't really see any way around that for Samson, quite frankly. Just saw. Should have been a Raphael video. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong page. Let's take a look at Raphael here. I'm noticing a little bit of size gains. I think mainly in like chest, shoulders, triceps regions. Yeah. Like look at the side chest. Definitely improved. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Let me make sure classic awards aren't on. I hate to skip that. Yeah. Yeah. So glad that's at the Arnold. But anyway, Raphael's back, still needs to come up. His conditioning, not that good. I've seen better from Raphael. Wanted Samson to win, but damn, not even close. Yeah, I mean, I get the appeal of Samson, like, and I get what Milos says, like this is bodybuilding, like hashtag bodybuilding. He's not overly conditioned, not overly blocky, not overly muscular, and that's all right. I see the appeal of that, but I mean, it's still bodybuilding. Body built more muscle, and he carved that muscle from granite, it looks like. So, okay, maybe classic. No, it's wellness international awards, as opposed to, I mean, aren't all bodybuilding shows international? I mean, anyone that can get here, get to a place can compete. Let's see. We should have more updates trickling in. Here's a good, not the best picture. Samson from afar looks very good because I mean he's 300 pounds and closer to 6 foot. But I mean, when you get up close and start examining the details, that's where Samson falters. Let's check. Maybe Gilco has some of their videos out. No, not quite. Always check Fernando Arroyo's page. He's quick with it. That's a replay, but that's sideways. Oh, here we go. Here we go. AJ. No, didn't want that. Okay. Now we got a video from in the audience. Someone says so close, big apples and oranges. I don't see this as so close. I mean, it's apples and oranges, sure, but I mean, I mean, this is a bodybuilding contest, guys. Let's keep that in mind. Let me check back. I'm always scared I'm going to miss the classic awards. Let's see. Look at Samson's stomach there. I can't be the only one that thinks that looks a little, and especially there, I can't be the only one that thinks that looks big. Back, I got to go with Hottie for both poses. I don't know what the poll said. 73% of you said Hottie's winning. I think it's resounding. And Hottie's not going to mess this up at finals. He's just not. And Samson's not going to dry out, even though he has 24 hours. Samson's a water buffalo at just about every show. He's not the biggest water. I mean, he's not like an Akeem Williams, but he's a water buffalo every show he enters. And simple as that. Hottie is undeniable. Absolutely. Like, he even improved the shape. And Samson's stomach, I think, hurts him in a couple of poses. So there is no argument for Samson winning, quite frankly, as far as I see it. There's just simply no argument. Shape alone cannot win this for him. It's pretty cut and dry. Well, maybe QG would have a video of horse. No, yeah, horse. Once we find a picture of him, I'll see if what a letdown. Uh, no, not quite. There we go. We'll see if there's anything in his tagged. Oh, here we go. Yeah, looks a little off. Okay. Wellness first place is going on, and then I assume a victory speech, and then classic awards. But yeah, Horse really dropped the ball here. And I mean, you have to be on if you're missing a back and things like that. Hamstrings are okay. Glutes are soggy. Rear double, not as good as what the lead up pictures were looking like. That's not even as good as the picture he put out like 2 or 3 days before the Arnold. Uh, yeah, he's working with Milos. I'd almost guarantee we have an insulin carb up situation where he spilled over. His posing looks a little better though. It's still not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's better. We'll watch that video one more time. Yeah, simply a little water, simply spilled over. He can't stop looking at himself in the jumbotron behind him. Yeah, he see completely skipped the rear double. We saw that in the last call out he was in. Abysmal, abysmal rear double. It was better at Romania. Yeah, victory speech going on for wellness. Okay. We'll see some of these other guys. Let's see if I can find a video of James. James, I thought he was all right. It's just he has some uphill battles to fight. Narrow clavicles, narrow back, poor abs. Okay. This is probably the best we're gonna do. Yeah, that's not that good. It's kind of hard to see there. It's not a very good video. No, we'll have to wait for James's main video to come out because he was compared in big call outs. So and then Raphael, we'll just go back to him. Great physique. I think he's going to be in third. But now we're just killing time till we get. Okay. Classic Physique Awards coming out. I would say Ramon wins this. I just have a feeling Wesley deserves it. I gotta say, Wesley deserves it, but we'll see. I mean, it's not like Ramon doesn't deserve it, but I think Wesley, wow factor, X factor, whatever you want to call it, most muscular guy. But in classic, is that what you want? Is that what the judges want? Who knows? Oh, we got the best posing award up first. Best posing award. Perfect. I'm glad posing is at least kind of for something. Urs Kalasinski gets it. So Urs Kalasinski is the best poser in 2024 for the Arnold Classic. I think that's for a while it's been a check of 10 grand. I'm not too sure what it is now. I would turn the audio on, but the video is already lagging, so I don't think turning the audio on would help the situation or help the viewing experience. I'll put one final poll out in chat because it's just oars talking. We'll get the final call. What you guys think? And it is Ramon and Wesley at this point. It was a top two call out. Make sure you guys vote in that poll. And remember, this is not who you want to win, so you think is going to win. Please try to separate the two. Okay. Best poser award is out of the way. That means your top five is up next. Fifth, I like this dude's fro mustache combo. Damian Patrick. Ramon could come in at 30%. Brazilians would still have a winning. That's true. Absolutely true. That's why, honestly, the polls I put out, I always take with a huge grain of salt because I mean, they're passionate, maybe a little too passionate to see objectively, but I mean, Wesley fans are really passionate too. So we'll see how this shakes out. Michael DeBull. Oh, he was in fifth. Okay, so this is a top six. My apologies. Damian Patrick is sixth. Sixth. Michael DeBull, fifth. Good package for Michael DeBull. I initially actually had him in fourth. I had him in fourth. But Wesley showed up completely unexpectedly, so he was able to pull ahead, maybe in front of everybody. Yeah, okay. Breon in fourth place. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Expect a video. Yeah, he's obviously pissed off. Expect a video on that tomorrow. I'm going to definitely dissect that one. That's that's garbage. That's a garbage call. Absolutely. What a disappointment. I knew this. I had a feeling this would happen. But Breon getting beat by Urs, are you kidding me? Are you going to do a review of each division saying who won each pose and why? I'm going to do a recap of every men's division, and then I will also do a review of um, the top two. I'm thinking probably the top two in classic, depending on who it is. We're about to find out. I'm definitely going to do a review of Urs versus Breon because I think that's trash. And I'm going to do a prejudging review. Expect that later tonight. Yeah, loves to smooch. Yeah, wow, what a robbery. Absolutely. I mean, we were all talking about it at prejudging. There's no way. Marks Max Muscle and I were talking about it. There's absolutely no way Urs should beat him, but he did. And we had a feeling he might do it anyway. I don't care what he looked like at finals. His prejudging showing was abysmal. Abysmal. Okay. I had him winning or second. Breon is great. Breon is absolutely terrific. And he was improved. With the better weight cap, he's been getting fuller and fuller. Okay. Wesley Vissers just won. Is that what happened? Oh no, Ramon Dino won. Ramon Dino plays second place. Wesley Vissers is your Arnold Classic champion. Well deserved. Absolutely. That's crazy. Every prediction I saw had him third at the highest, and I took a look at those comparisons and I was like, yeah, right, get out of here. But Wesley Vissers comes out of nowhere. And we've all been watching this guy for a while. I know him from Mr. Golden Era, an online competition from Nick Strength and Power. And that was back in 2018, where he did some online competition because Nick thought he had a good Golden Era type of physique. And now he's up here, now, besides Chris Bumstead, leading the charge of the Classic Physique division. Wesley Vissers is your 2024 Arnold Classic Physique champion. That's wild. Well deserved. Blown away by him at prejudging. I know some Brazilian fans are going to say this is a robbery, the biggest robbery here, and I'm still hung up on this. Breon placing fourth. I got to do a video on that. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. It's at least someone didn't get shafted. Wesley is constantly getting shafted. He constantly was getting shafted. I think at this point he's improved so much that he's just been undeniable. Great condition. He's filled out his extremely large frame. Happy for Wesley. Good call, judges. Yeah. It's not that Ramon wasn't good. Wesley just upped his game, and he finally filled in those very big shoes, that very big structure that he had to fill. Wow. Let's not forget that the O looked for something different. Unfortunately, I don't see Wesley getting that top three at the O. Yeah, and that actually leads into Elias. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your name. The last chat in the chat box. He was getting shafted, but I don't know why. He leapfrogged everyone and passed everyone. Like what changed the judges' minds all of a sudden? Wesley wasn't proved for one, but I'm kind of with you. I don't really see the judging criteria flows like water in classic. It's simple as that. I mean, he's improved, but I don't know improved enough to leapfrog everyone. I understand what you're saying. It's a deserved win, but we've been saying Wesley deserved higher placings for years. So we've all been on the side of Wesley. But now the judges seemingly have changed their minds too. Okay. This is a narrative that happens ever so often. Ronnie and Jay were dead last, and then boom. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. But I really want to see how this plays out at the O because I think he just kind of bullied his way to the top with good enough condition and definitely good enough mass. I don't think I want to say Ramon was the most classic guy today, and I know that may be controversial, but I think Wesley Visser's a little overdeveloped for the division. Still classic. I just think Ramon to me is more classic, but Wesley kind of bullied his way to the stage by being just huge and complete. Well deserved win for sure. I think I would have been happy with either one of them winning, but I'm glad Wesley wins. Okay. I know some of you guys are still in the chat. I may have a guest come on. We'll see. Okay. We do have. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I'll share. We do have better photos and videos of the top two in the open, I should add. Here we go. Let's see here. Chat's being a little slow on my end, but okay. Brad Forrester, good to see you. Finally. I haven't seen you comment on my videos in a while. Brandao looks so much better than low def Dowda. I mean, I just don't think the judges see that way. I think I see what you're seeing. I think I really do, especially now that Raphael's a bit fuller, a bit bigger, but I don't think the judges see it that way. Let's not forget about Greg's video about Wesley never winning a classic show again. Um, I think I watched that video. It's yeah, what a weird thing to say. I mean, even if you don't like him, even if you think he's a bit boxy, I mean, there's no, I mean, he's Wesley Vissers. I mean, he can win a classic show, and he just won the Arnold Classic, so yeah. Let's see here, yeah, but Breon in fourth. That's that. I wonder if I could find a. I mean, let's take a look at them by themselves. Breon brought his legs up. Sure, they're a little undersized compared to probably where they should be. Okay, I'm not denying that. But we don't even need to look at Urs to know those are better arms than Urs's. Come on. And Urs was not as detailed, especially in prejudging. In prejudging, he was flat, so that didn't make him, it didn't showcase that detail. And then I like the little touch where Breon kisses us goodbye. Basically, I think that's, like, oh, I'm kissing you goodbye because I'm just leaving the competition in the dust from the rear. Because that's true, especially Urs. Urs doesn't have the back like this, doesn't even come close. I mean, I've seen enough. Let's go to Urs now. Let's see if I can find a perfect same video, same kind of camera quality. I don't like the way his rib cage looks. I gotta say. Anyway, side chest, arm looks stringy. Pecs don't look that thick or dense. I mean, big rib cage, but that's not really pec muscle. This comment kind of makes sense. Back looks, I think, a touch better than where it has been, but I think he's pinching the shoulder blades back. I don't think it's like not improved as what he needed to do to really kind of make himself not vulnerable. This comment says he's reached his peak, lacking clavicle width and delt and arm potential. I'd be interested to see how much size he can add. Forgot Urs. Forgot Urs. I had Brion beating Ramon. Forget Urs. I had Brion beating Ramon. Um, yeah, but I think that was just so unrealistic to me. I didn't see even the potential for that because I mean the whatever it is, like now that Wesley's won the Arnold, the judges literally hate Breon. Like he is number one most wanted. Like they hate him. They hate him. Clearly, they've been shafting him since 2019. I think he went. I thought he won in 2019 Olympia. I thought he should have been at least second in 2020. Um, it's it's crazy. They got it right with Wesley. He looked like a beast tonight. Yeah. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, his rib cage expansion is a strong point. Yeah, I just don't like the way the rib cage on Urza is shaped. I just don't like the actual shape to it. I don't like how the stomach cavity looks. But let's look at them in a call out. I think this is, yeah, okay. Ur's tilting away from it, so we're not going to be able to see too much, but it is what it is. I mean, Ur's, I think even tilting away, he doesn't have the arms of Brion, and I like Brion's flow better. In the side chest, I again have Brion for better polish. Ever since he had that elbow fight with Sebon, yeah, give me. I know what you're saying, but come on, give me a break. But you know that you can't attack. You can't even remotely get hostile, even in all good fun, with the IFBB's Golden Boy. So V shape instead of you. Yep. Brion, think again to 212. As the judges surely not going with his physique for classic division even in the future. Yeah, and honestly, like it makes me even. I mean, I don't think they'll ever push him quite out of the top five as long as he shows up more like this, half decent, more than half decent. What am I even saying? But they're simply like this makes him fifth in the world. Like that's just not true. Yeah. Okay. Back to the side chest because I thought the front double was pretty conclusive, but we kind of went off on a tangent on the last side chest pose. Brian's bicep insertion is shorter, but Urs but is bigger. Yeah. Side chest, basically, Brian has more detail. None of the guys have. Okay. Okay, I think we have a guest. How exciting! Give me 1 second. Patch him in here. Okay. I want to keep on the vein of classic. So let me pull up a kind of one of the top four. Go. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna bring Jake Ultimate Fitness on if everything works correctly because he's there in person, so we can have a someone that was there get a different kind of opinion. Brian has been getting a bad shake. He has improved a lot. Absolutely. With that new 5 to 7 pounds. Yeah, absolutely. Jake. Hold on. I can't hear. Give me 1 second.
I was muted. Can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Does the mic sound okay? I'm not using my normal mic. I brought my headset from home because I thought it would look cooler on stream. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty cool.
It sounds
Um,
absolutely fine to
it
me.
sounds good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the show, man? I was there in person. It was insane to see exactly what happened. Also, it's great to meet you as well. Sorry to put that there as well. Um, but wow, yeah, what a
Likewise.
show. What a show.
Absolutely. Let's start with classic.
Yep.
So, initially, I thought Wesley should take this. I eventually decided that Rahman would, just because political things of
hmm
that
hmm
nature. Um, but I firmly believe Wesley had the potential to win it. Definitely deserved to win it. I think it could have gone either way, kind of, sort of. Um, but I think this is a well-deserved win for Wesley. I know you've seen the pictures in the vids. Was Wesley even bigger? Was his win even bigger in real life? Was it?
Oh man, yeah, let me tell you, I was sitting all the way in the back. I had some pretty bad seating, so I couldn't see conditioning with my eyes, but I could see the silhouette of their frames. And Wesley was not only huge and dominant in person, but I mean, you can even see from this video here how big he is, even next to Ramon and Urs, who are tall guys themselves. But I mean, when Wesley won, it was just a shock. Everyone was just it was really that it was pure shock. I was
Yeah.
shocked. I was there with my dad. Both of us were very shocked. It was really crazy. I was very happy. One of my really good friends was a big Ramon fan, and he couldn't believe it because, like you said, Ramon looked amazing too. Maybe not
Mhm.
as good as he did in the past. I definitely think he looked much better at the Olympia, just last year. But you know, he still looked great, and I think that he maybe didn't come in at 100% because he didn't expect, a Wesley Vissers to come in. What was he, seventh at the Olympia, to come in and
Yeah.
really bring his all-time best and absolutely nail it. Um,
Do you think maybe I've seen a couple comments, is Ramon maxed out?
I mean, I saw a few of those comments too. I saw some people talking about how his physique looked worn out. He's like trying to come down to that weight cap. And
It's
honestly,
tough.
you look at him, right? He looks massive. He looks freaky. He has those huge arms. His conditioning is on point. But I mean, he definitely sacrifices that fullness coming down, really cutting down, and then he might not be able to carb up the right way and gain all that fullness back after making the weight cut. And that is maybe where Wesley kind of comes in because I'm not sure if he's maxed out. I'm not really too well informed on their weights. I don't actually know how much they weigh. However,
Hmm.
even looking at this rear double, I don't know if you're looking at it as well. You could see that like Wesley had a much more filled out lower back. You can see, at least in person as well, his chest and shoulders looked much fuller, whereas Ramon wasn't as full as we saw him at the Olympia. So, to the point of if he's maxed out or not, it's hard to say because I definitely think he might be maxed out in terms of muscularity, but not necessarily on fullness and peaking correctly.
Um, I would, I don't know their exact weights, but I do remember Ramon was 30 pounds over at 6 weeks out.
Yep.
Like, to drop that much in 6 weeks, I can't believe he did it, quite frankly. Um, but he did manage that, and I think he'll start running into problems ultimately, like Breon did. Like, he'll start losing body parts because 30 pounds in 6 weeks, that's a lot.
Yeah. 30,
And
I mean, just like you said, I mean, 30 pounds, it's ridiculous. I think what was he? He was training with Chris Bumstead 6 weeks ago, and he looked so freaky. He looked huge. He looked like he was the same size as Rafael Brandao. I mean, they looked insane. They looked very comparable in size.
yeah.
And I was shocked that he was able to come down as well. Not that he hasn't done it before, but I mean, he definitely sacrificed those body parts, like you said. I honestly, speaking of Breon, I thought he looked amazing. I don't know if you share that opinion too, but his quads looked a lot better than they did in at the 2022 Olympia, for instance. They looked better at 2023, but he didn't have as much time to really put on the pounds and stuff. But I thought Breon looked amazing. Do you think he should have beat Urs? How do you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Everyone was shocked. That was another thing. Nobody thought, at least the people sitting around me, nobody thought that Breon should have lost to Urs. Urs did pose really well and he had great conditioning and all of that, but he looked flat. And I think we were talking about that earlier.
Mhm.
You know, he looked flat and his tan was off and he was posing kind of weirdly in the prejudging, which I think he should have been deducted for.
I think so as well. I mean, like you said, murky tan, very muddy when he came out. And Breon, I actually think his quads were on par with 2023. I haven't looked at comparison photos, but
Yeah,
I think they were at least on par. Um, but I think in terms of quality, he definitely beat Urs. He has more muscle density, muscle maturity, things of that nature, more detail, and better back and arms. I mean, so what? He has a slightly out of balance lower body. I don't really see the argument for Urs winning. I wouldn't even go as
100%.
far to say his structure's better. I prefer Breon's structure,
I mean, yeah,
honestly.
Breon in the front double, he looks amazing in my opinion. I mean,
Mhm.
you look at Urs in the front double, I personally do like the way he poses. I saw some comments saying that they didn't like the way that he hits the front double. I like that honestly. I like that he's minimizing his waist and hiding his flaws. I think that's what bodybuilding is all about. But
Absolutely.
I mean, Breon just has that. I think Breon just has those lines as well. I mean, they both have very comparable shape and aesthetics, but they're different at the same time. And it's up to preference, I think, when it comes to them, because they are close. Both of them brought really good conditioning. However, I thought Breon had obviously better arms, specifically those biceps and triceps, much peakier biceps, better swept triceps, and more mass in that upper
Mhm.
body. I think he had the best back on stage, but that's my personal bias. I really like his back, and I've always liked it, just the insertions and everything. And from behind, when I saw his hamstrings and glutes, I was extremely like surprised. They looked
Oh yeah.
very well developed, some of the driest out there. And speaking of those hamstrings, I was kind of disappointed with Ramon. I thought he would have a lot, drier of a lower body. But honestly, the gap between him and Wesley wasn't really that far in conditioning there.
I think a lot of that has to do with Ramon's posing. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he doesn't seem to be flexing the hamstrings. Because I mean, your quads can't be this shredded from the front, and then you don't have anything in the
Yeah,
hamstrings.
yeah.
It, but so you would have Breon winning over Urs, like bar none. That's an open shut for you.
You know, I would say 75, like I would give Breon 75% chance for the win. And obviously here it seems like the judges took that 25% chance. And the reason why I'm not saying shut the door is because I do think, and this is my personal bias, I do think that Urs has that advantage in the structure in terms of height. And I think that does play a role into it. He might have the better V taper as well. Those flaring lats really do mean something in the front double. And I mean, he has that comparable structure to Chris Bumstead in terms of
Mhm.
height as well. And I think the judges do like that still. But I mean, I would have liked to see Breon win here over Urs. Not, I mean, I would have loved to see him win the whole show as well. But obviously, seeing as Ramon and Wesley were just better, I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um, Someone pointed this out in my chat. Does Wesley do this well at the Olympia? I think there's kind of an air in the room that maybe he doesn't do as well in the Olympia. I just kind of get that hunch initially. Like, is he going to be the one to stand next to Chris Bumstead? Is he going to kind of get pushed back? Is there different criteria at the Olympia versus the Arnold?
you know, I think about that too. Is the judging different at the Arnold or at the Olympia? I hear people saying like, oh, the judges prefer more, shape and stuff at the Arnold because Arnold is there. But at the end of the day, it's the same judges and things like that. So I'm not really sure. Now, I will say that Wesley, he might not come in at his 100% best, or he might not have in the past come in at 100% best because of the pressure. The Olympia, to a lot of people, obviously, is a very big show, probably the biggest one in their minds,
Hmm.
objectively. But something like the Arnold, while it is almost on the same level, even the prize money now is super comparable. Um, it's a lot less competition. I mean, you have 10 guys.
Yeah,
That's what was it at the Olympia? One, I think 2022 was like
30.
50 or something. It was like
And yeah,
ridiculous, right?
yeah.
I mean, that's the chance. Like, there's a chance that one of those guys comes in and nails it and beats everyone, right? Like a complete newcomer. So that puts a lot of pressure on their minds. So I think that's one major factor why Wesley maybe hasn't come in at his best. Now, in terms of the Olympia next year, I think that Ramon is going to take this loss and work hard to bring a better package in terms of peaking well. I didn't think that he peaked badly by any means. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
He looks great, but I think Ramon's going to figure things out a lot better for next time, play with things around. Because at the Olympia, man, I mean, the Olympia 2023, he could have beat Chris, in my opinion. I really liked his physique. I still think Chris won handily, but
Hmm.
Ramon, I mean, his back looked twice as good. The density in the lower back was really there, and his fullness all around was much better, and conditioning in the hamstrings. But he might have been posing differently, like you said. So,
So I think that's it for classic. We'll move on to open. Any other thoughts?
I mean, what a good show. That's really it. I
Great
mean,
show.
it was a great show.
Great outcome for sure. I honestly I thought it was deserved, but I never really expected it. I thought in the back of my mind Ramon was always going to win. So when
Yeah.
I actually did see it, I was still very surprised.
I think these are the best types of shows where you get that unexpected outcome. I think, Wesley was the underdog. He won. You love to see it. You love to see it. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of open, I mean, I haven't really done my research on it that well because I just got back from the show. But let me tell you, when Hadi came out and he was hitting the vacuum in the front double, I thought his waist looked super small compared to other times, and that was a key factor in my mind. I was thinking about both of their waistlines. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, Hadi's waist is going to be thick. It's gotten thicker since 2019." Things like that. The
Yeah.
same can be said for Samson, right? They were saying, "Oh, his."
Absolutely.
I mean, here, look in this video, you can see Samson's midsection is kind of rounded off. I don't like that, and I wonder if the judges are going to penalize him for that. Um,
I
but
noticed it.
yeah, and of course, a lot of people were talking about it. But in terms of the back, I mean, what do you think? Do you think Samson is comparable to Hadi in terms of the back development, or do you think he still needs to put on a little bit more width and size?
And the width, Hadi has so much width across the shoulders that it's
Yeah,
not close. I have him winning the lat spreads, both of them actually hands down, especially from the rear. And then in the rear double, I think Samson may have more details poking through, but Hadi has that denser quality,
yeah.
if
I
that
mean, look
makes
at look
sense.
at Hadi here. I mean, you can see that density that you're speaking of. I mean, look at the quads. They even have that. They have that. I I don't want to go as far to say Dorian-esque quality, but I mean, Hadi is an Olympia champion after all. I feel like it's almost reasonable to compare him to another Olympia champion. I mean, Hadi has that graininess, he has that granite-like conditioning, and
Hmm.
even better, he has those deep striations in the chest that Samson or really anyone on the stage doesn't have, or at least the combination of size and conditioning. And look at the quads here, right? You can just see that Hadi, even though he's a smaller guy, he has that similar amount of mass, which is just super impressive. I was extremely impressed with Hadi's ability to come in with that level of muscularity, even at the Olympia, and compare to Samson. I mean, you see all these crazy updates of Samson leading into the show, and you're
Hmm.
thinking like, how is he going to lose? He looks like the next Ronnie Coleman. But
Sure.
then you have Hadi here, who's just a compact ball of muscle, and he looks so conditioned. But then again, I mean, what do you in this pose, in this freeze frame? Who would you choose just from this
Um,
frame?
Initially I did a Prague Pro Samson versus Hadi Olympia comparison, right?
Mhm.
And I had Samson winning this one. Now Samson was breathing through his stomach too much. That
Yep.
ruins part of his taper. And Hadi still has great lats, even though they may be a bit higher. And then usually Hadi has the Y frame. His legs don't have the quad sweep of, someone like Samson. So he kind of has the Y frame instead of the X frame. But I think here his quads have been the best since the 2019 Olympia, as well as the waist. So overall X frame, I got to go with Hadi and the lats too, and I and the waist definitely sells it for me too because Hadi has the tighter waist.
Yeah, Samson's abs aren't really as flush as they normally are. And I noticed that on stage, even though, I have glasses, my vision isn't the best. I was sitting like 20 rows back. I couldn't see really much. You could see the light just completely washing over his abs, whereas with Hadi, you could see the shadows, and it was
Hmm.
really impressive. Now, I I was looking at the pictures leading up to the show, and you could almost see some faint glute striations in Samson. I was really excited to see if he would deliver on that.
Yeah.
Now, looking at this, like I said, I didn't really have the best view, so I couldn't tell. Samson looked pretty good from the silhouette, but now that I'm looking at this here, obviously, I mean, it's pretty clear that he doesn't have strided glutes.
Oh yeah.
Now, look at the
Samson looks great
backs,
far
though.
away.
I mean, if I were to step back a little bit, even from my screen, his back looks to be about the same width of Hadi, but I don't know if that's necessarily good because Hadi's the smaller guy and the similar
Hmm.
back width makes his back look bigger on the smaller frame. And also, just looking at it here, I mean, look at Hadi's shoulders. Those are massive. I feel like people don't talk about his shoulders that often. And then you look at the hamstrings and the glutes. I think it's game over downstairs. Uh, I mean, Samson does have great hamstrings and calves, but I
Mhm.
think this is a Hadi pose.
I
Definitely
think
seen
so
Hadi
too.
better though. Definitely, I will say. Do you think Hadi's at his best here? Do you think this is his all-time best version?
No, I think his best versions have been the 2017 Vancouver Pro, or maybe that was 2018, and then the 2019 Olympia. I
Yeah,
think this is up there in the top three, though, maybe even
you
top
do.
two.
I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, look at his waist. It looks as small as ever. I mean, it looks great. Samson has a great silhouette too, though.
Mhm.
But I think objectively, Hadi would win the rear double. And now we're going to take a look at this rear lat spread. I think it's going to go to Hadi again. I mean, the width on the smaller frame, the similarities in width, and I'd say that they basically have the same amount of definition. Maybe Hadi has a bit more
Mhm.
hardness, but
Yeah,
then again, Hadi has basically the same back on a smaller frame, so therefore it looks more imposing. But
exactly.
I mean, man, when Samson puts on like another 4 or 5 inches of width in the lats, dials in his glutes and hamstrings, I think nobody will be able to beat him in the future unless Andrew Jack somehow puts on like 70 pounds of muscle or something
Sure.
crazy like that. But yeah,
I want to keep going, because I definitely want to get to the midsection.
yeah,
Um, it doesn't. It really comes. I mean, Samson has always not been able to lock it in fully in the side tricep. I think it looks okay there. I think he even arguably wins that because he has more thickness from the side and the better tricep.
yeah.
Um, but it's not a slam dunk. But I definitely want to get to the abs and thighs pose now.
Yeah, this is definitely a moneymaker shot for Hadi, in my opinion. I mean, he's always had that razor sharp midsection, the oblique specifically. I mean, look at that. Look at the detail. Carved out of stone, basically. Whereas
No comparison.
Samson's looks watery in the bottom half. It looks very, it looks like he doesn't even train them. It looks like he's just relying on heavy squats to get that, which, it's not like he has a bad midsection in my opinion, but even here, look at the transition. He's breathing heavily and it's really ruining his overall silhouette.
And this is Samson locked in now. And this did
Yeah,
not used to look like that. That's
it didn't.
still.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was I was commenting on that. I know some people would probably call me crazy, but I'm like, I know what I see. That's uh going the wrong way in terms of Samson's midsection. And I thought
yeah.
leading up to the show, some people said it looks a little bigger, and I said it'll be all right on show day. And I thought it's honestly getting to the point where it may actually be a dock on him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how he plays his midsection out in the future. You have someone like Ronnie Coleman, who obviously had a much wider midsection later on, but arguably became even more dominant as his career went on. So I
Hmm.
wonder if Samson can follow a similar trajectory throughout his career. Now, the most muscular, I mean, this is very telling, right? Look how big Hadi's arms are. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit in that area. His shoulders too. Who I don't even know if he puts synthol in them or not. I hear like a lot of people talking about that, but
Yeah,
I mean, if he is, it looks great, doesn't it? I mean, those shoulders don't look pointy or anything. The
not from this
separation is
angle.
on point. Yeah, not from this angle. I'm sure that from another angle they look kind of pointy, or in the
Hmm.
past at least. But man, the triceps look really, actually, I'm not one to really accuse anyone of synthol. I've never really been that, but that tricep on from in our perspective from the left of Hadi looks a
Yeah,
little suspect, but still looks pretty good anyways. And look at the dryness in his quads. I don't think he had that at the Olympia. I mean, the
not to this
separation is
extent.
on point, and then again, the lighting at the show. I feel like I haven't heard many people speaking about the lighting. It was pretty good. I was very
Yeah,
impressed with the lighting, but I mean, you look at Samson, he's so big, the frame is huge, but I don't think he has that same level of polish in the chest and arms. But in the crab, it's hard. It's hard because I do prefer Samson's structure, but I mean, Hadi's so compact. And I mean, look at him sticking out his tongue. I feel like he knows he's winning the shot. It's
yeah.
hard to argue against someone with that level of conditioning with a similar level of muscularity. So I'd go with Hadi. I mean, what poses do you think Samson is winning here, if any?
Side try.
Side tricep. Even that one
That's
I think is debatable. I mean, you see Hadi's chest, far pec, it's strided perfectly. But then again, Samson does have a pretty big frame, so.
Sure. But overall, going into the show, I had Samson as the winner. I thought,
Mhm.
well, Samson is looking very shredded, and as long as he keeps that close, he's big enough and he has the shape over Hadi that the IFBB wanting to move in an aesthetic direction, at least in my mind, I thought they'll give this to Samson. And they also had an Olympia battle with Derek and Samson, and I feel like they're kind of gearing up for that Derek Samson rivalry. But now Samson doesn't have the conditioning he needs to. Hadi has improved his shape, and he still is. more muscular, more complete than Samson, at least by a little bit. So really, I don't think Samson has a path to victory anymore. So
Yeah,
at this given point.
from right now, from what I see, I think Hadi is winning basically every pose. I think he definitely, I mean, the ab and thigh is one of the most convincing poses. The front double, even, I mean, even though Samson has that super massive structure, I
Hmm.
mean, Hadi's waist looks so small and his arms are so big. He has the peaked biceps, he has those refinements, and he has the genetics where Samson doesn't.
Hmm.
And on top of that, I feel like something people don't speak about enough is the skin quality. Hadi has like this
Yes.
really thin skin quality, whereas Samson has very thick skin. That's something you can't necessarily out train or diet through,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because Samson has a beautiful frame. But I mean, I think Hadi's going to take this one. I'd be very surprised if Samson were to win, unless, and this is a big unless he really dials it in, unless he somehow shows up tomorrow with strided glutes and a completely feathered Christmas tree. I think if he did that, he would win. But
Yeah.
as of
Because
right now, I don't see it.
I don't see it at all either. I mean, like you said, he has enough mass, but the conditioning is just so far behind that the shape can't pull him through.
Yeah. I mean, even in the side chest, right? You look at him from afar and he looks great. And I think leading into the show, looking at the updates, his side chest was one of the most impressive shots. But then you look at Hadi and you see that he has that same amount of muscularity, but with conditioning. Sure, he doesn't have the shape. I don't think Hadi's shapely at all. I'm not a fan of his aesthetics, but it's undeniable that he has the mass and he's not ugly by any means. His physique
Mhm.
is still very good
Yeah.
in terms of that aspect. So I think I can't say enough. I mean, I think Hadi really delivered. Samson, he delivered. I mean, he looks huge and freaky, but I don't think that I don't think he's going to win. Now, what do you think about? I know they're not up on the screen, but what do you think about Horse MD? You saw that he didn't even
I
make it
have a
into the
video.
you do have a video. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone was saying, "Oh, he's off or something." I don't know if he's off or not. That's what I heard from people that were sitting next to me.
He
And
was.
he was off.
He was. I mean, you can take a look at this video here. I mean, it's not the best quality.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
you should have seen the rear double. He doesn't hit it in this video, but he was getting his ass whooped by Akeem Williams of all people in the rear
really?
double. Yeah, so
How did Akeem look? Did Akeem look good?
Akeem will probably be seventh.
Really? Okay. What do you think
Yeah.
horse will play? Oh, yeah, you can see that layer of water in
And
the hamstrings. Oh my God. And where are the glutes at? Okay, I mean, I guess they're not terrible. This is definitely a peaking issue, I think. I mean, he looked great leading into the show. He was dry. He definitely just messed up his peak.
and you
Oh
know
man.
this is a common issue with Milo Sarchev. It's
Yeah.
the insulin carb up dilemma. Milos
Yeah.
pumps these guys full, and I know he does. He says he doesn't. That's what he's doing. He fills these guys up, and honestly, too much. I,
Yeah.
I think he does the same thing with Samson. He may say that he doesn't fill up Samson a whole lot, but at the end of the day, should he even be filling him up at all? Like Samson
Yeah.
should
Do you
be
think
on zero
Samson would look
carbs.
better? Do you think Samson would look better if he came in maybe I don't really I've never really seen a flat Samson per se, but if he came in like 50% full and then just had that dry look to him, do you think he would do better?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And you don't think that that lack of size, because you look at him against Hadi and they're very comparable. Do you think that the lack of size would hurt him at all? Or do you think that the added dryness would compensate in that aspect?
It's the exact same thing as I said with the big Rami. It's just like, why are you worried about the scale? Why are you worried about, carbing him up? He has muscle to spare.
Yeah.
Um, and like, where is he going to lose it from? The back? I doubt it. The chest, he has muscle to lose there. The legs, the
Yeah.
arms are already kind of flat anyway. So wherever you pull the muscle and fullness from, it's not going to hurt you as much as it helps you to have that dryness.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I think the two other big topics that we haven't spoke about, or at least in my opinion, the two ones that I was very much looking forward to were James and Raphael. What did you think? I saw Raphael, and of course, like I said many times, I saw him from afar, but it almost looked as if his midsection was a bit wider. But now that I'm looking at
Mhm.
it here, he looks really good. He looks really good. Look at the
I
quads.
I
Oh
think a
man,
hair bigger. I think a hair bigger.
but
I would concur with you on that.
nothing. Do you think he's bigger overall though, not just in the midsection? Like, do you think how much size do you see those 21 pounds that he
Uh,
added?
In the side shots, yes. In overall back mass, yes. He needs more density and detail. In the delts, triceps, and
Oh,
chest.
wow.
I
Those delts
see.
are crazy.
Yeah,
What do you think of his conditioning in the lower body?
not where it needs to be.
I think
Uh,
if the glutes were a tad bit more feathered, like maybe, a couple more lines, I think it would be passable. From the
hmm.
side, the cuts are there. I mean, the depth to the cuts are there and the quads look pretty good, but he's a little bit watery from the front and from the back. The cuts aren't as prominent as they looked leading up to the show. Yeah, the chest, oh, actually it looks pretty, yeah, it looks really good there actually.
Yeah. I
Yeah, the
noticed it in the
delts.
side chest. I noticed the improvements in the side chest, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, look at those lats. It is, he does resemble Chris Bumstead a lot, especially in that most muscular shot. I don't know what it's called, like not the hands clasp, but it's a different variation where you have your hands like this, and
Yeah.
they have very similar structures. And overall, okay, now that I'm seeing it, I'm very impressed with Raphael. I think he does, and I think he will land in that third place spot. It seemed like they had him at the top of that second call out. So if he comes in even better, I think he'll secure that spot. Now, do you think there's any chance that Samson falls into third and that Raphael beats Samson?
It's honestly, this is going to be a hot take. It's close in my mind. I know maybe it doesn't seem like this because it was a top two call out. In my mind, I think depending on what happens at finals, if Raphael tightens up a little bit and Samson continues to maybe get a little fuller, a little too full, spilling over, I think there's a chance.
Yeah. I think Raphael has that shape. I didn't really notice any midsection distension or really anything wrong with his physique. He has one of the most eye-pleasing and aesthetic physiques across any division, in my opinion. Definitely one of the best of all time. I know that's crazy to say, but maybe his only real flaw is his abdominal genetics, but even
Yeah.
those don't look bad. They're symmetrical at least. He has great lats, great flared lats. His arms are full and huge. His delts are some of the best. Look at the striations there, even when he's not at 100%.
Yeah.
His shape is just really carrying him. And I think when he nails it, if he does nail it at the Olympia, if he makes it, he'll place within that top five. Granted, maybe Big Rami's not there, but we'll see what happens. That's looking really far ahead. Now, what do you think about James? I actually have not heard anything about him.
Um, you know, I think he was okay. I mean, he definitely didn't have his best peak, and I don't think I'm gonna have a video of him, but I think he probably did as well as he could, given that everyone
Hmm.
else was on. He's probably
Yeah,
in fourth, maybe fifth, depending on what John De La Rosa does.
yeah.
But
Oh man, yeah. Completely forgot about John De La Rosa too. He looked pretty good. Um, I I don't know. I feel like James really gets held back by his structure. He has some of the best work ethic in the game right now, training really hard, training really heavy, but it's just unfortunate that he has, kind of a narrow frame, shorter arms,
mhm.
shorter limbs overall, and it doesn't help that he doesn't, his torso is not necessarily the smallest, so it he has a really interesting build to say the least, not in a bad way, but
Yeah.
he he did resemble Branch Warren a lot leading into the show, and I was very excited to see if he would deliver on that, not in terms of that conditioning, but that density and that really, I wouldn't say granite look, but almost the hard look to the muscles. And looking at this faraway picture, he
Hmm.
does look good. He looks conditioned. I'd have to wait to see like the Gilco footage, the 4K footage to see if it was really his best, but
Yeah.
he looks good. He
I
looks all right.
That grain is really going to come through on the Gilco whether he has it or not.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of waiting on those types of pictures. But I think the only problem with James, the only big problem besides the things you mentioned, his midsection, his abs are already shallow.
Yeah,
So I think he was a touch watery here. So there was like nothing going on in the abs. It's not a good combination. You have to be as tight as a drum, and he just wasn't
yeah.
because it was the right move ultimately because you have to he had to fill up other areas, but I think he filled up in the stomach a little too much as well.
Now, similar question that I had with Samson, if he would have come in drier and not filled up as much, do you think he would have done better in this lineup?
I think, honestly, I think peaking aside, he could have still got to where he is, but this is kind of his ceiling, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think, yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I think, I don't know if he can beat John. I think he can beat Antoine,
Mhm.
but I mean, I think this, like I just said, I think it's a ceiling.
I mean, Antoine looked pretty good. When I saw him coming out for his individual posing, he looked very proportional. He had a lot of criticism for his upper body being a lot bigger, smaller, sorry, for a lot smaller than his lower half. However, in this, at least from afar, his silhouette looked amazing. Now, I don't think I don't know. I think James might still have the edge in the upper body in terms of size,
Yeah.
but I mean, when Anton and what sorry, I'm really tired. When Antoine was posing, especially in the side shots, I heard this one lady sitting right next to me. She was like, "Wow, look at his side leg." Didn't hear it from any other competitor. Um, his conditioning, I think, at least from what I gathered from the people around me, must have been
Mhm.
pretty solid. Um, and I would be really happy if he placed within the top six. Now, is it going to happen? I I'm not sure. I think maybe if John and James come in worse tomorrow and he comes in more conditioned, then it's possible. But as of right now, I think where do you think you'd end up in the 6, 7 area, 7, 8
I
with
think,
Akeem?
yeah, I think John rounds out the top five, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, and then Antoine and James are fighting for sixth. Um, well, hold on, I think Samson, Hadi, Raphael. So John's probably actually in fourth. And for the last fifth place spot, I would have James and Antoine. I think
Okay.
they both beat Akeem because Akeem still doesn't have a back, and it's still not 2020 Akeem.
Yeah. I think Akeem looked massive though. He looked
Uh,
freaky. The people, oh man, the people next to me were, I guess none of us could see. They were confusing him with Samson, which, if that goes to say anything of how freaky
sure.
he looked from the front. Um, but yeah, he still has no back, and like I'd have to wait for the Gilco footage to come out because I'm not sure what his conditioning looked like. But he looked full from what I could see. Now, who is it that I was thinking of? Moshe Ban. What did you think of him?
Simple as in a show like this, he's getting outclassed. It's not that he was bad, it's just
Yeah.
he was not as good as others.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an update of him where he was hitting a front lat spread at the beginning. Oh yeah, there it is. I think it's like a little bit lower. Uh, I think it's like one of the lower posts down there, but he's hitting a front lat spread in his off season, and I think these were pretty close together. Like these photos weren't, it's not like a 12, 16 week difference. This is like
Mhm.
8 weeks or something ridiculous like that. Maybe even 7 weeks. But I mean, on stage, like you said, he looked like he was getting outclassed in terms of muscularity. And also, I don't know if he's a tall guy or not, but he didn't really stand out. There was nothing about him that was screaming wow factor or freakiness. His conditioning was fine. His muscularity was all right. And he didn't necessarily have any weaknesses. It was just that, like you said, everyone else was either bigger, more conditioned, or just all around better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think he does enough to beat Justin,
Oh
which
my God, I completely forgot about Justin. Wow. What do you think about him?
um
You think it's over for him? You think he's gonna retire after this show?
it is over for what he used to be.
Yeah, I'd agree with that point. I think his midsection has just gotten really blocky and his abs aren't as separated anymore. I don't know. I just think I wonder if it's a peaking issue or if it's just him getting older. Um, I don't really know. I mean, I guess his track record as of what was the last show that he looked good at? The Boston Pro 2022? Was that the
Yeah.
last show? I
Yeah.
mean, and how many shows has he competed in since then? Did he compete at the 2023 when did he last compete at
The 2023 Legion Sports
Legion
Fest.
Sports? And he didn't
Yeah.
he didn't even look that good there, did he?
He got beat
Um,
by John Jewett, a
okay,
212
yeah.
guy.
John Jewett looks pretty good though. He looked, but like then again, I mean,
That should not be the
that
case
should not be the case
on
on
paper.
paper, on paper. Um, but yeah, I mean, man. I mean, I think that picture there of him posing at the gym on the really bad background, yeah, that one. This was him. So yeah, 16 days.
16 days.
I yeah,
I thought that was 4 weeks out.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I was gonna give him shit for that because I thought it
Yeah.
was 4 weeks out. That's 16
16
days.
days. That's basically 2 weeks. I mean, I watched this video earlier today. There's like a full posing routine on NBC News, the YouTube channel. Um, no striations in the glutes. The hamstrings were like barely there. The back, that was a big thing. He's known for having a pretty decent back, but in the rear
It's
double,
melting.
there
It's
was
melting.
nothing in
Yeah.
the lower part of the back. And in this picture, right, the thing that I noticed is his arm. Look
I
at
was gonna say
his
that.
left
Yeah.
arm. I
Mark's
didn't
Max
even
Muscle
realize
pointed
it.
that out.
What happened to it? What do
That's
you think
oil.
that is?
That is
Oil.
simply oil. I mean, because there's literally no muscle there. That's literally.
Why did he put oil in it? He's always had pretty solid. Do you think he's been putting oil in the biceps? Because he's been known for
I
having
don't.
really good
I
biceps.
don't think so. I think they've always had the hard look and they've always been
Yeah.
good. But
You don't
I
think it's a
guess.
tear or something? Well, I guess if it was a tear, there would be some bruising around it. Um, yeah.
And
Oh
so
man.
this
I
was
just
16 days out. I think there was
yep.
another photo recently. After that where he. This was. I can't see.
Monday morning. Okay, so that was like this week, 5 days out, something like that.
I believe so, and it's not that
Um,
you can literally see the divot, the
yeah.
natural divot but that lower back thing you were talking about, it's even
Yeah,
kind of
it's
kind of
definitely
present
more
there.
prominent in the rear double, but I mean, look at the lower body here. It's just the shell of his former self. He's never been known for having like the best lower body from behind. Uh, but I mean, forgive me, I haven't been in this sport. I haven't been really analyzing the sport for too long. But from what I've seen of him in the past, I've never really known him as having like that insanely deeply separated hamstring,
Hmm.
the carved glutes. I haven't really known him for that. I've always known him for having the freaky biceps, a pretty solid midsection when he's on, and a
Hmm.
great back. But I mean, it's just disappointing. Now he does have a great set of calves. So props to him in that area. And in the side chest, I saw a lot of these. I saw him posting a lot of side chests leading into the show, and he looked really impressive and really conditioned. But I guess he didn't deliver. So you think he's going to end up in 10th?
Let's see. He's not beating Akeem. Probably won't beat Justin. I mean, he probably won't beat Horse. He probably won't even beat Mo Shaban because at least Mo Shaban was in
Is
condition.
conditioned. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean I mean, 2 years ago, I had him in top three at prejudging. Because in 2022, that was the year Samson made his Arnold Classic debut, and I was like, he's beating Samson. He's at least up there with Bonac and Brandon. I think he can do this. Fell apart at finals. Um,
Yeah.
but that top three, well, that prejudging looked really good, and even at the Boston Pro, he kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Never looked the same ever since.
So when do you think his best showing was?
Either that Boston Pro or the prejudging specifically of the 2022 Arnold Classic.
Okay. And what do you think happened? Do you think it's a peaking issue and he's just really not figuring it out somehow after this many shows and this much time? Is
Yeah.
it an age factor? I'm not sure how old he is. I know he's not young, but I don't know if he's in his
It's
40s yet. I don't really know what would explain it.
not to be a psychologist, but the dude that is okay with using oil is probably okay with doing a lot of other things, like staying on gear for a lot and
Yeah.
competing until the wheels fall off, quite literally. They're going down in size, honestly, and he can't hold down a coach. He he
Yeah.
he, he changed his coach. He's now back with Abdullah, Brandon Curry's coach, but he was with him like in the past 2 years. He's gone from the AJ, the Cement Factory, George Farah. I think he's had three or four different coaches as well as self coaching.
hmm with these jumping around with coaches, I don't ever, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but a lot of the time, I feel like that comes down to the athlete feeling like their ego is too big. They can't really take another person's advice because they think they know it all. And I mean, honestly, Justin's produced some very impressive packages in the past, so he should feel like he knows what he's doing. But at the same time, that's why you have a coach to guide you through things. And I think, you look at people who stayed with coaches for a while, namely, I mean, the first person that comes to my mind is like Ronnie Coleman with Chad Nichols.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I don't really know if Chad Nichols is doing as well anymore with his athletes, but
No.
I mean, Ronnie Coleman's a big one. I mean, that's stay with one coach and boom. Um, I think you just need to stay with a coach and just listen to them because at the end of the day, if they get it wrong, I guess it's their fault. And you just work through it again.
Hmm.
Therefore, you don't put the blame on. You just gotta. I feel like with me, right, in things other than I mean, I don't professionally bodybuild, but with things that I'm not necessarily an expert on, I just listen to what other people say and I take it into account and I put my ego aside, even if I feel like I have the knowledge because I think other people's opinions are definitely important. And maybe if Justin were to put aside his ego, and I'm not like I said, I'm not accusing him. So if he's gonna watch this or something, I don't know his situation. But if he were to maybe just figure things out, I think he has a great physique and the potential to come back and really improve things if he takes if he takes a much needed off season, maybe even a full year off, and
Mm-hmm.
really just focuses on building a relationship with a coach. I think above anything else, he has the muscle. He doesn't need any
Oh
more.
yeah.
He just needs to build that relationship and build a relationship with a coach and have the coach understand his body and what his body needs to peak right. I think that would be what he needs.
I don't know if you ever heard the story. He actually got into it with Charles Griffin at that 2023 Legion Sports Fest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was
I think I saw it on the stage.
he was like, "Fix your pec, bro," because Charles had the torn
Yeah,
pec, and then
yeah,
Charles said, "Fix your entire body, bro."
yeah. I remember that. I completely forgot about that. Oh man, yeah. Okay, and Charles was the one who won that show, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what did Justin place? Did he place second or no?
third, because it
Third.
was
Okay.
John Jewett in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just unfortunate. I don't know. So then that almost does confirm that his ego is getting in the way. Um, but yeah, I mean, who am I to say? I literally I'm like I'm not one to say that what he should do. I'm basically just a kid. But at the
Yeah,
end of the day,
he should certainly change
he
it,
should
whatever
certainly
he's
change
doing.
whatever he's doing. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Um, and there's also the theory that his 2022 versions may have been like on a bell curve. They're way over here. Like we were never supposed to see those types of versions. Mark's Max Muscle was telling me about this. He's like, basically, we were never supposed to see like Justin in 2022 like this. Like it's an anomaly, or Akeem in 2020. We're never supposed to see that because even on their best day, that's already so far ahead of where they're supposed to be. So maybe this is the real Justin. I mean, it certainly is more
Yeah.
plausible by the day.
Yeah, I mean, the more and more we see him compete and the more and more we see him consistently not do as well as that, peak version, it's pretty plausible that maybe this is where he's destined to be. Maybe this is his base. I guess like most, uh, I'm losing words because I'm like, I think I woke up at 3 a.m. yesterday to catch the flight, but I think this might be his baseline. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's the best word to put it. Best way to put it. Sorry. But I mean, just looking at this picture though, doesn't he look great? I mean, all alone, he looks
I think
great.
so.
There's nothing you can really say. Maybe he needs some feathering in the glutes, but that last picture we were looking at, he looks great. I mean, even his beard looks good. I mean, this is a good solid side chest pose.
Yep, that's a good
Um,
looking man.
like it's a good looking man. I mean, look at him here. Look at the most muscular. That's crazy density, crazy graininess and vascularity. But does it translate on the stage? I don't
Never.
think so.
Not in the past 2 years.
Not in the past 2 years. I'd love to see him turn it around though. And speaking of turning it around, a guy that did not even compete at this show, William Bonac. What do you think about him? I know this is completely off topic,
No,
but do you think
I'm the biggest fan of William Bonac.
are you?
Biggest fan.
I am okay. I wouldn't say that I'm the biggest fan of William Bonac, but I love to see him succeed because I don't think that he has the best structure, but I think he's done everything he can and he's really succeeded, and it's very inspirational. I
Have you
mean, look
seen
at
him
those
at the
biceps.
Have you seen
Have
him
I
at the 2017 Olympia?
2017? I did a 2017 Olympia analysis. I haven't seen it live, but when I was doing that video, I mean, I looked at the rear double and I gave him second to Phil Heath. He was insane
Hmm.
in the rear double specifically. Some poses like the front double, his waist looked a little bit wide, especially in the front lat spread, which just isn't a good pose for him or Phil. But
Hmm.
I mean, at that show, didn't have a super wide waist. It wasn't necessarily a problem. He was controlling it, and he looked great. What did he place there? Fourth or third? I think it was fourth. Or I don't
Um,
remember because it was
20,
Phil, Ramy. Um, wow, I
I
don't even remember who was in
I
that
want to
top
say
four.
it would have been probably Dexter.
Dexter, yeah,
Yeah,
Dexter was third. I don't know. Oh, maybe fourth.
I think
Um,
Dexter ended up in fourth.
okay, yeah. But either way, I mean, he looked great. And then you look at the 2019. I mean, I was very impressed when he turned it around at that 2022 Arnold Classic, coming in second to Brandon Curry.
No,
I thought he
he,
should have won, in my opinion. Looked
straight up.
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I mean, just those biceps alone, man, those should have just won the show. Uh, but overall, I'd love to see him come back and do damage one last time. And if he did really well, like wins the pro show, I think he should retire. I think that that would be a great way to go out. I don't know if
Mhm.
he should necessarily try to go for the peak at the Olympia again, because he might mess it
Yeah,
up. And it's always good to see a legend go out on top. Um,
absolutely. Like Dexter, I mean, he didn't go out like on the tippy top, but he was still top 10 at the Olympia, and
yeah.
he was second at that Arnold Classic, I believe,
Oh
because
my
of
God,
in
Dexter
2020.
2020 Arnold Classic, that was insane. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't even a fan of bodybuilding at the time, but looking back at it, I mean, he was kind of regressing, but then he pulled it all around. I mean,
Hmm.
he looked amazing. And then obviously at the 2020 Olympia, you could clearly see that age was catching up to him, and he didn't look as good, but still, like you said, top 10, a great career. What was that, 20 something years? His first Olympia was 1999.
Something like
So
that. Yeah.
21 years of competing, and he still had a relatively small waist, and he looked great. So I mean, I'd love to see Dexter Jackson even make a comeback to the Masters, but I would love to see him do it, but I wouldn't want him to do it for his health. Uh,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't have to get that big. I mean, he could probably step on stage at like 190, honestly.
yeah, but
For the way he
how old is he?
carries
Like
muscle,
50, 54?
he's probably like 54.
I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like it's risky, It's risky. You don't want to put your health on the line at that age when I mean, what did he win? The Olympia, Arnold Classic 5 times or something ridiculous like that.
Yes. Yeah.
What more does he have to prove? You know what I mean? He's already won the Masters Olympia as well. The most winning bodybuilder, I think, in terms of
Hmm.
overall titles or maybe even overall shows. I'm not
I th
sure. I've heard that
I
before.
think that's right. Yeah, I don't really. I know Dorian Yates is up there actually because he used to do the European tours, and so is
Yeah,
Ronald.
yeah.
But I think it's Dexter Jackson at this point.
Did Dorian ever do an Arnold? I don't think he did, right?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. It was always Kevin or Flex or Sean. I don't really remember. The 90s, wow, I'm not that versed in the Arnold classic history. But yeah, I mean, overall, this Arnold classic was extremely entertaining so far.
Great show.
Um, what do you think the outcome's going to be for tomorrow for men's open? Like what do you think? Not necessarily the placings, because I know we went over that, but what do you think we're going to see physique wise from these guys? Who do you think is going to improve? If I were to have to give you the top five, right? So Samson, Hadi, Raphael, who else did we say? John De La Rosa, and who did
Hmm.
we say was in fifth? James or Antoine?
James
I,
and Antoine fighting for that
okay.
fifth place.
So
Yeah.
if we were to go with that top six, right? Who do you think is going to improve and who do you think is going to fall and regress? Or do you think nobody's going to regress and just stay the same?
Hottie will stay the same. I can tell you that much. I mean, him and Hani, they've got it locked in.
Yeah.
But Samson, all he has to do is dry out. Like, I mean, I don't know if it'd be easy. I mean, he's a big dude, so it'd probably be easier to dry him out. Um, I still have him in second. I have Raphael in third. I think John, as consistent as he is and as complete as he is, I think James is missing the shape. John has better shape. Antoine is still missing a little bit of upper body elements. John is complete head to toe. Um, so I think John is honestly not on lock for fourth, but I'm pretty confident in that, and I don't think he's going to waver at all. I think
Yeah.
he's and he's a veteran. He's a veteran of the sport. He's been doing contests for years, so I think he's on lock for at least the top five spot, probably fourth, and then in fifth, I would probably give the edge to James, probably just for better mass. I want to see Antoine and James up close for the conditioning aspect because I know both of them were shredded. Um, so I don't that can't really be the deciding factor if they're too shredded, but I
I
think
think
that can
with
go either way.
I think with them between Antoine and James, if they are both shredded to the bone, right? If conditioning is out of the equation, if we just consider them both at that same equal playing field, I would I personally prefer Antoine's physique. I
Yeah.
like his shape. I like the way that he poses. I like his back and I like his frame. But then again, James has that fullness and he has, in my opinion, the better upper body in terms of muscularity. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, James doesn't have the best arms. He doesn't have the best back. No, honestly, none of his body parts, apart from maybe his delts and his chest, are outstanding. if outstanding is even the right word in this case. So, but then again, Antoine really only has those really dominant legs, and that might hurt him against James, who might be more proportional. So we'll have to see how it plays out tomorrow. Um, but it will definitely be interesting to see. Do you know when men's physique is happening? I don't know if you follow that division.
I don't, but it's 12:30 tomorrow.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be watching that in person, but I don't know. What do you think of men's physique? I know that's a completely random topic, but
No, that's fine. You know, I'm gonna I like to keep it real. I'm fine with men's physique. I like the inclusion of legs. I like how they're gonna have weight caps. They need to keep those guys smaller. Like it used to be the beach body model physique,
yep,
and now it's classic light, classic without legs. Like some of these guys couldn't get make the weight cap.
yep,
So, I think I know I like Diogo Montenegro, I
yeah,
think his name is. I
yeah, that's
like
his
him a
name.
lot. Um, but I only see very little. How about yourself?
I I think there's a YouTuber that I've watched. His name's like Hart McGrath or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I mean, he does really good commentary on it. And I knew nothing about men's physique until maybe a couple weeks out of the Olympia last year. But he got me into it. And I don't really know the names. I don't follow it too heavily, but I don't know. They're all so aesthetic. Like you said, they're huge. It's like classic demo version, but they're all aesthetic. They have tiny waists, and honestly, they have some of the best genetics out there. If they were to put on the size and move to open, they would be insane.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's good that they're putting a weight cap on it, trying to make them smaller, and it's good that they're going to judge the legs so they're not disproportionately large in the upper body.
Yeah.
But I don't I don't think that it would ever become the next classic physique division. I just think it's too
No.
unrelatable because the physiques are so big and unrealistic. Uh, even like since they're catering towards that beach body physique, like you said, if they were, I think it has the potential to be a very not respectable is the complete wrong word. It has a very high chance of becoming mainstream
Hmm.
if the physiques were something that the average person could attain in maybe 5, 6 years of hard training, uh, with maybe minimal gear usage if nothing at all. Um, I would love to see that, but then again, I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, I already think the lineup is a little bit crowded. I wish the Arnold had 212, but I got to be honest, we got to get rid of some of these women's divisions. There's no reason
Yeah,
they should have so many of them. And it's not like I'm not saying they can't compete. It's just that the lines are blurred, like between wellness, fitness. If you just showed me what they were, like, and picked all the champions out and showed me, I don't know if I could place them to the division they won.
yeah. When I was watching, I watched the finals for wellness and fitness, and I have major respect for really any professional athlete or anyone who does anything at the top of their sport or
Mhm.
anything, honestly, right? At the top of whatever they do. However, I honestly had no clue what was going on. And I think that I do agree to a certain extent that maybe they should have less divisions. Maybe just one because the physiques are so similar.
Mhm.
Um, Now fitness, what I gathered from watching it was that fitness incorporates
Gymnastics.
the actual gymnastics, and I found that pretty interesting. Uh, it was cool to see these people, these
It's
women doing.
entertaining.
It was extremely entertaining. I got there a little bit late because I went to go get some food at the food court, and it took like 30 minutes to arrive. So I got there late. I go in to sit down, and there's a woman doing like somersaults and everything, and I was like, wow, what is this? I didn't know what it was, but it was entertaining. But then with women's wellness, it's like I don't even know. I'm not a fan of
Yeah.
it. I guess like I think if they were to market it better and really explain it better, and if there were
I
maybe more
mean,
commentators on it, I guess it would be more interesting. But
the
I don't.
commentating is a disaster on it. I mean,
Yeah,
they have one woman on the panel and she has to discuss all the divisions, whereas
yeah,
the men they just seem, they have less divisions to know about, so they can like go in depth more on that. I mean, like they're spreading one woman across five divisions to talk about, and it's very
yeah.
ironic that they call it the wellness division when I'd really like to see the blood work. That's besides the point,
Do you think
but
they're not? I don't think they're natural. I mean, they're
no.
massive. Their quads are like huge. I mean, I don't even think I could get my quads to that naturally.
Yeah.
Um, if ever. I mean, I don't know. My quads aren't even that big anyways. But what is it called? I think, look, I'm all for women competing, and I think that they should, of course, have a division. There's no doubt. However, it is almost undeniable that this sport is dominated by the male athlete and also by male fans. I mean,
Yes.
you look at I look at the stats of my viewership, and to be fair, I obviously only review like the men's divisions. So I guess
Mhm.
if I were to view the women's divisions, there would be more women watching. But it's like 97% men and 3% women who
Yeah.
view this sport. So it's like it's clear. And you go to the show and looking around me, it was like basically 5 guys to 1 girl. That was the ratio.
And I
Um,
don't like how they hijack the men's divisions in order to put butts in seats for the women's divisions. Like if the women's divisions were really that popular and they could stand on their own, don't put them before the men's divisions and let's see how well they do. It's as simple as that.
yeah, I I don't know. Me and my dad were watching it and we had no clue what was going on. We were like, "Oh man, we just want to get to the classic physique." But we were able to appreciate it after a while. And like I said, I think it all comes down to like appreciating the athlete at the end of the day, regardless of the gender, regardless of what the division is. But I would like to see them do away with a few of the divisions. Honestly, I think that, this might be controversial, but I think that 212, a lot of these guys have the potential to battle it out in the open. I mean, you look back in the 90s, right? There was no 212. I
Mm-mm.
mean, and you had guys like Lee Priest, who was it? Momo Benaziza. You had these really short guys. I forgot who that guy in 1992 was. The guy right
Lee
next
Labrada?
to no, the really short guy next to Lou Ferrigno when Lou Ferrigno made his comeback. There's a
I'm pretty sure that
picture.
was Momo Bitaziz. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
yeah, okay. Regardless of who it was, like they were still like they were still putting up a solid fight and a solid effort. And I think I honestly think that they should do away with it and there'd be more prize money overall. But then again, the lineup would be really stacked then. And I might just be rambling because I'm tired. So
No.
I might regret saying that in the future. So if anyone's watching and saying like, "Oh, that's a
Yeah,
terrible take."
we're gonna get boycotted by the
Yeah.
IFBB.
But no,
Too,
the 212 is a great division. Don't get me wrong, but hey, I mean, I would love to see who's that Angel Calderon? I'd love to see him compete at the Open Olympia. I know he won an open show, I think last year or 2 years ago. Not
yeah,
sure. He was qualified for both. And okay, and one more thing too. Now that we're watching this video of Hadi posing with Samson, that
yeah.
imbalance in Hadi's quad is still very noticeable. I couldn't stop seeing that while we were talking. His
Um,
right quad, the outer sweep, looks a lot less developed than his left quad sweep. I don't know if it's the angle, but I still think that's a problem. But I don't think that's going to hinder him from winning here.
no, I don't think so. I did want to add about the women's divisions. I think it's a really dumb idea that we have a bodybuilding show and a gymnastics show at the same time because the same women are doing it. They're peaking for a show, they're getting dry, and then doing a gymnastics routine. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, you can tear a muscle, tear a tendon.
And Missy got
Super.
hurt last year. Missy Truscott
I did
uh,
not know that, but I'm not surprised.
on the
I
Olympia
think
stage.
this might also be controversial, but I was walking around the Arnold Expo and you have like powerlifting and all of that going on in different areas. Now, obviously, powerlifting is not the same as bodybuilding, but
Hmm.
gymnastics to a certain extent isn't the same as bodybuilding either. I think that giving these women their own like space to do the gymnastics as its own category will make them. So you're saying they're peaking for the same, like the two divisions, right? That would make them have to choose between which one to do. Um, and therefore it would obviously prevent injury, but also maybe draw in more viewership because you obviously have to go pay to view this in person. Whereas with the Arnold Expo, you buy like the overall pass, you can go watch all these other events happening.
Hmm.
And maybe that could be a solution to it, but
Yeah, that's what
that
they
would
should
get
do
rid of
all
a
day.
category too. But I don't know. I mean, I could talk about that all day, the different divisions and all of that. Um, but what is it called? My dad just got back to the hotel room and I'm extremely tired. But so I apologize if I can like wrap it up soon.
No, absolutely.
But
I gotta
um
start pushing videos out. I got a lot
gotta
to do
start pushing
tonight.
videos out too. I've got to probably make a script too tonight. I'm gonna pass out and fall asleep so hard, probably in the middle of writing one. But overall, you think it was a great show?
Great
Uh
show.
I
Great
think it
show.
was a great show. I'm super super excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow, and even more so, I'm super excited to see what you and the other fellow content creators have to say about the rest of the show. I always look forward to watching your guys' videos, no matter if I feel bad. Sometimes I just don't comment. I'm like a ghost viewer because I don't watch any YouTube videos on my YouTube
Yeah,
account.
we just can't get around to everyone.
Yeah, but I watch people's videos on like my personal account, I guess. Um,
yeah,
and
yeah, I do that
I
too.
just love watching, what you guys have to say, because at the end of the day, we're all fans of bodybuilding, and it's great to see what your peers and other fans have to say about it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, oh man, I'd love to be back on in the future though. I think we had a great conversation about what went down. Um,
Absolutely.
and like I said, I'd love to hear what you have to think about this next day, what's going to happen tomorrow. And I do apologize if I'm like stuttering or anything because I'm losing my grasp on reality
Oh
in
no,
terms of
you're
words.
absolutely fine. Absolutely
Um,
fine. But I will let you go. Final thoughts? Is that it?
I think that's it. I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to pump out. And thank you for having me on. It was really nice of you to invite me and everything, and it was a pleasure talking. And I'm very excited to see what you're going to make for the content. And good luck with it too. I don't know what time it is for you, but I assume it's going to be late. So good luck with making content and everything.
I'm just in Indiana. I just didn't decide to go to the Arnold this year, so
I see. Have you been in the past?
I've never been to a bodybuilding show in my life.
Really? How
No.
come?
Um, I've never really thought this. I never thought I'd get this far.
That's fair. Okay, like I could talk, for the people that know me in real life, I could talk forever. I love understanding and meeting people. And I've never been to a bodybuilding show ever in my life either. This is my first one. I don't know when did you get into bodybuilding?
I've been in bodybuilding for a long time. I started following it loosely in 2017, but I really started
Okay.
stepping up around 2020.
I started following it. The first Olympia I ever watched was the 2022. I think I
Mhm.
started watching, like really following, like watching Mark's Max Muscle. He was the first guy and Tominator, those two. I started watching them 2022 summer, maybe
Mhm.
May 2022, something like that. And I never would have thought that I would be at a bodybuilding show in Columbus, Ohio, taking off an entire like weekend from college. You never think that these things are going to happen, let alone being on a podcast. Like, you know, I'm just very grateful that for all this to happen. I'm very excited to see where all of us can go with this because I honestly think, imagine we become like big commentators or something like that. That would be sick.
The guys at the IFBB would be lucky to have us, Jake.
They would be lucky. They would have to they would have to beg us to come on. I mean, if
Uh,
we were commentating, the viewership would go skyrocket.
Skyrocket, absolutely.
Um, but yeah, like I said earlier, thank you again for having me on. And also you got to come to a bodybuilding show in the future.
I'm thinking the
It's
Detroit Pro.
Detroit Pro. Is that my geography is so bad. That is close to Indiana. Yeah. Um, that's going to be a really big one. Is Nexzilla going to be there? No. He's going to be at
No,
the New York Pro potentially.
I doubt it. He didn't
You
get his
don't think
visa.
so?
He
I
didn't
see.
get his visa for
Oh
the
man, because I'm going to that one.
New York Pro.
I'm going to be going to the New York Pro. So man, I mean, if you can make it out there, love to see you.
I
New York
might,
Pro is going to
yeah.
be a big show.
I
Um,
think I'm going to start traveling around actually.
it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it for the experience and just being like for me, I don't have a lot of friends that are into bodybuilding, so being around a lot of people who have that same passion, it's
Hmm.
very fulfilling. It feels great.
This
Um,
upcoming week, I've never talked about bodybuilding more in my entire life with other people because
really,
I've just been, making so many connections, and we've all been kind of
yeah,
we're in a group chat now behind the scenes,
yeah.
we have things going on.
This is the most I've ever talked in depth about bodybuilding. And it feels great because it's honestly it's one of my it's a passion, and it's great to talk about a passion. I mean, it sucks. Imagine you can't talk to someone about one of the things that you really enjoy watching, like a sport. It's like football or something, right? You can't talk about it with anyone. So it's great. This was a great opportunity, and I'm very thankful that we met and we were able to put this all together.
Absolutely. I think
Uh,
we're some of the only Zoomers because I know you're very young. I'm 21. I don't know how old you are.
I'm 18.
Damn.
Yeah. I was gonna ask if you use like Discord or something.
No, no, I'm a boomer when it comes to this. Actually,
Oh, really? I
yeah.
was gonna say in the future, Discord is very good. I don't know if any of the other guys use it, but Discord is very good for screen sharing. At least I know how to do it. I suck at Zoom. When I was online for school, we didn't use Zoom. We used like Google Meet or something like that. So I literally have no clue how to use Zoom. This is like probably my fourth time ever using it. And all the things at the bottom of the screen make no sense to me. Uh,
I didn't
But
even know how to live stream, but you can apparently live stream directly to YouTube with
from Zoom,
with the pro membership that I bought because I
you
wanted
bought the
unlimited
pro
time.
membership? Oh my God.
I was
That's
like,
crazy.
well, you're locked to 40 minutes if you don't
Really?
if you yeah. So
Oh,
I was like, oh
that
man,
sucks.
I want unlimited time. I'll pay the 15.99 a month or whatever it is.
With
But
so I was gonna say with Discord, also, do you use, I know this is a really random question. Do you use Windows or Mac?
Windows for now. I think I'm gonna
So
get a Mac
you
though.
can get I don't know if you can get on a Mac, but I use a Mac, but you can get OBS streaming or whatever, and you can stream the Discord screen. It's just great. It's like a great little thing. I used to do streaming for like video games. I used to play like competitive Fortnite. So I used to like yeah, yeah. This is what happens, man. You go from competitive Fortnite to competitive bodybuilding commentary. That's the pipeline. But
I
listen,
guess
like I
so.
said, I could talk forever.
I
I
do
feel
want to
like
say, if I see you at the New York Pro, we should train together.
we should train. We gotta get a session. How long have you been training for?
A while. I
Really?
don't know. Yeah, I'll probably follow you on my personal account so I can show you, but uh yeah, I've been training for a while. We should train legs together
I think
in New
I
York.
did I watch a podcast. I think I watched the one of you with Mark's Max Muscle, and you said you got 185 for 10.
That was a while ago. I don't bench anymore. But
I
yeah.
I've my bench is my worst. I think I don't bench, right? I hit 185 for one like 2 weeks ago. I was so happy about it. I've been training for like seriously like I guess a year, but bench is weird. Like I don't bench, so I guess I wasn't strong. 185 was light, but do you do incline for dumbbells? What do you do for chest?
Not anymore. When I stopped, I got like 100 pound dumbbells for like eight,
On incline?
maybe
That's
10.
insane.
It probably would have been like a 30% incline. It wasn't super high,
But
but
still, I mean, 100-pound dumbbells for eight is very impressive. I, man, yeah, I've been stuck at like 80s for like 10. I tried 85, I got it for 10, but then like it's the hard part for me is getting it up. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
hardest part. Okay, serious last question. How much were you weighing?
160.
That's impressive. That's
I
very impressive. Top
Yeah.
1%. Why aren't you on the Mr. Olympia stage?
No, no, no. Now I will eventually compete in classic, but I'm probably about I'm short. Uh, short king, 5'7". I'm probably
That's not short. That's really not short at all. That's like, I mean, you look at Breon Ansley, bro's so tall. You're not, bro.
and
5'7" is not short.
I mean shorter, but I'm at about like 195 right now.
195, 5'7". So you're basically a unit. That's crazy.
I mean,
Oh my
I've had
God.
better body composition, but I broke my
Yeah.
toe last month and I'm just getting
Oh
back
man.
into the gym.
Back into the
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm at 5'9", and I don't think I'd ever get to 190 in my life. I was at 165 a little while ago, and I think I'm at 155. I went down a bit because I wanted to get a bit leaner. Because one of my friends was teasing me, he was like, "Oh, where are your abs at?" Like I've been training for a month and I already have them, so I had to compete with him. I had to get back down to that. But so you think you'd compete in the future?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm already not natural. I don't know. I don't know if you watched like some of my older videos.
Oh, I haven't. So
Yeah.
you t- so you take steroid. Okay, I see.
Mhm.
Man, I think my dad's somewhere in the hotel room, but I think about it sometimes. I have like history of like not me specifically, but family history of like heart problems, so I don't think it would ever be worth it for me to do it. But man, it would be fun. I think it would be fun to
It
see
is.
it
Imagine
do.
walking into the gym and you can just improve every workout, at
Yeah.
least for a
Oh
little
man.
bit.
Do you think now I know this is okay. I feel so bad. I really want to know though. Do you think you hit your natural limit?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Do
But
you
it's
reg do you
do I
regret not
regret it?
hitting it?
No. I
Okay.
mean, I took a look at everyone around me, no, everyone in the sphere, and they were like, I started taking pretty young, started taking this, and they're like, well, I would never do that, but you're also at the top. So,
Hmm.
and that's where I don't want to be at the tippy top. I'd be fine winning a pro card, maybe doing a pro show or two, just for the accolade and just for,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm gonna do what they do. It's as simple as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I feel like for me, my goal is to I want to be like 170 pounds, 12% body fat. and just make content. Like I ultimately I enjoy what I do now, making bodybuilding comparisons, and I want to keep on doing it. But I also want to share more of myself, and that's why like I think doing this is a good introduction into, introducing myself to my viewership. I don't think I've really posted my face anywhere. My Instagram profile is private, so my fans can't like, they can't even see me. So I think this is like an interesting little thing, and I think in the future I'll incorporate myself more as my physique gets better.
Yeah.
But we'll see. My goal is a year from now. Okay, Zoom just disappeared on me. There's Zoom. My goal is a year from now to be where I want to be, which I think is possible. Because I went from 120, 110 pounds to
Damn.
165, which was crazy. I mean, I was so skinny, and
Hmm.
I was like literally like maybe 8% body fat, but no muscle at all.
Sure.
And I just put on that weight. So every night, a 1,500 calorie shake. It was
Mm.
ridiculous. I probably lost 5 years of life from that. Um, but it was worth it, in my opinion. I'm happy where I am. And man, I'd love to get a workout, and you probably smoke me in every single lift. What do you squat? What do you squat?
I don't do free weight anything anymore
Really?
because yeah. Um
Injuries?
uh no. I always felt like I was going to get injured and it just wasn't worth it to me. I
Wasn't
don't
worth it.
deadlift. I don't regular deadlift from the floor. I don't squat free weight. I do Smith machine squat and the Rogers squat. I don't know if you know the Rogers
I
squat.
do not know the Roger squat.
It's like a big machine.
Oh, okay.
But I did 3 plates on that for like 22 reps the other day after
Jesus, bro. Oh
I
my
walked
God.
into the gym and I was like, this is like my second leg workout after I broke my toe. I haven't trained in like
Three
four.
plates for 22 reps is insane.
It couldn't have been a true like 315 though. It just couldn't have
How much do
been.
you think it was? Like 275? I mean, still,
Yeah,
that's
but
a
even
lot of
then,
weight.
it's a big machine. I'll have to send it to you, but I mean, like it's something. I mean, it's probably no less than 275, but that even then for
Yeah.
22 reps, I surprised myself. But I
That's
was
like
just like,
some Tom Platz numbers right
I,
there. I
I
mean,
will.
oh, geez. I tried for 315, didn't get it. I was close. Um, but I think 275 for three. That's what I've gotten in the past. But I literally just focus on like form for my free weight movements. I've never been a person to go for weight really.
Mhm.
I think I tore my chest last year. I was doing 70-pound incline dumbbells at like 140 pound. It was I don't know what I was thinking. You know what I mean? I was being really stupid and dumb, and ego lifting in high school because you have
Yeah,
all these like whatever, like all these kids that you think you're like the coolest, you're like a senior or whatever, and you're
yeah.
lifting these heavy weights that nobody can touch. And then I was going like this, and the weight slipped like this. It pulled over, and I finished the entire chest workout, but I literally could not push anything in this arm for 2 months. And when I came back, I was doing like 30 pounds. Uh, Thankfully, I don't know. I didn't really lose anything, surprisingly. And there's no like, I think it must have been like a really minor tear, but I was scared I was going to injure it. I was so scared I was going to injure it if I tried again. So I took 2 months off. Uh, but it is what it is. But
It
yeah,
is
I'd
what
love
it
to get
is.
if you come in for a New York Pro, I'd love to get a training session in. I think it would
You,
definitely be worthwhile.
if you go there, I think I may forego the Detroit Pro and maybe make it to New York. I don't know. I'll keep you posted on that, but we should definitely.
Definitely. Do you know if the New York Pro is a 1 day show? I think it is, right? It's
I,
gotta be. I think it is.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would
And
say so.
definitely I could find a gym out there or something like that.
We can go to
Because
Powerhouse, the big
oh,
powerhouse that's out there.
is that Bev's gym?
Yeah, I
Bev's
mean
Powerhouse
it's probably
Gym?
going to be slammed, but
Yeah, there's
I
gonna be
mean,
so many people. I mean, still, I mean, they're gonna see us and be like, oh my God, they're famous. We gotta let them in. We gotta let them in. Uh like hold on, let me show you this. I don't know where let me just grab it quickly. I was wearing this around the Arnold Classic, like the press badge or whatever, and everyone was coming up to me and they're like, "Oh my God!" No, I'm kidding. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. But but I mean, hey, buy the New York Pro. You and I are gonna have a combined 1 million subscribers, I think.
I don't think the bodybuilding community has a million fans to go around quite.
I mean, hey, I mean, we could take them from Nick Strength and Power, man. You never know.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I don't, does he even make bodybuilding content anymore?
he does, but it's like I don't know. I feel like he doesn't have any passion behind it. I love
He's
his content,
he's
but
only
he's
opening Pokemon cards on his second channel. That's all
really,
he's like
oh man,
MetaZoo this,
he
MetaZoo
makes
that.
he makes he makes videos like once in a while, or like every 3 4 days of updates. But it's like he doesn't make any clear points in them. He's just like speculating. It's the whole video is speculation, and I I like him. He was one of the first people I got into watching, so I still watch his content. And I think he has a solid understanding of what's going on, but he gets information wrong a lot nowadays, or a lot more than he did back in the
He
day.
phones it in.
Yeah, and I just think that he's doing it for the money. And right, I mean, if I had 1 million subscribers and I could get 40K views per video, what is that? Like, I don't even know. I like 50, $60 a video, $70, maybe even 100. I'd do that.
Yeah.
Like that's so worth it. If you could pump out like 3 of them a day. But then again, I mean, he probably has enough money. He has enough appearances and stuff. He can interview whoever because of his following. So,
Hmm.
um, he's the next person you should get on the podcast. I
You
think
know
that would be
what?
sick.
I'll send him a DM and we'll see what happens.
Have you ever? I apologize because like I don't really remember. I don't have a good memory. Have you ever interviewed any of the top bodybuilders before on a
I
podcast?
I did my first interview the other day with Ramiko Bose, who was supposed to be at the Arnold.
Okay, and he
Um,
didn't make it.
he didn't make it. His wife's due date got moved up.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Yeah,
Um,
but he was kind enough to come on the channel. I was talking to John De La Rosa, but he said he was going to do the interview, left me on red when I tried to reschedule
oh man.
it. And but I think I could get him on. John makes himself very available, and I still talk to John. Um, so it's just growing and then establishing credibility piece by piece. So
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have it. You definitely have it. I mean, this was a great like podcast and little talk and everything. I was gonna say too, what's your goal for where you want to go? I guess like in a year from now, where do you see yourself?
I don't even think this feels real, quite frankly. I mean, I remember I was telling Mark this 2 years 4 years ago in 2020. I was watching his videos in my outdoor kind of patio room at my mom's house. And I was, because it was during COVID, and I would just go out there and kind of like train, like weighted push-ups, what you could do during the pandemic. Um, and I would watch his videos kind of, in the background because, I'm training and I was just watching them. But then now I literally have him on the podcast and I'm recognized enough that I have other people. I just think it feels so surreal. I just want to make sure, um, I know this sounds maybe facetious. I I have the passion behind it, but making income from this, that's obviously the goal. Doing what you love and you can make money. I think that's everyone's goal that follows a passion project.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, when I started, I made a video. I got back from spring break. I was in the Bahamas and I was like, let me make a YouTube video. And I made a YouTube video, didn't check it for 2 weeks, got back, had 300 views. And I was like, wow, I'm so happy. I should make another one. And that first video that I made it was the top 10 best genetics in bodybuilding.
Hmm.
Super like ununique video to make.
Uh-huh.
Super ununique. And then the next video I made was I think it was like 2003 Ronnie Coleman versus 2009 Jay Cutler. Another super ununique but very, recognizable video
Sure.
title.
Yeah.
Um, I think the first video I think got like 20 something K views within that like time span, like within the first month. And I was like shocked, right? And I think it, like you said, it feels surreal because a year ago, I started my channel March of last year, March 20 something, after I got back from spring break. And I would have never thought I would have had more than 100 subscribers. I mean, when I was doing like video games, I had maybe 500 and stuff, and I thought I was on top of the world. Um, and it's just one of those things that you can never take for granted. Um, I remember when I hit my first 50 subscribers and I was just over the moon. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like the thought of having 50 people, like just, you know what I mean? Like 50 entire people. That's like half of my grade back
Yeah.
in high school. Like
Yeah.
it's just, it's super rewarding. And for me, the money aspect was never really too much of a factor because I don't really I at the time I lived with my parents, and I mean I guess I still do because when I'm not in college I just go back home. But
Hmm.
you know, it's just another added benefit, and I think I'm putting that all into my savings or whatever. And it's not like I'm making a livable I'm not making a livable income or anything because you know but it just doesn't matter. I just love doing what I do. You know what I mean? And I think as I
Absolutely.
get older, obviously the goal, like you said, is to make money off of it. And I think by doing things like this, getting the connections and everything, this is the right path to do that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like imagine you get Jay Cutler on the podcast. I really want to talk to Jay Cutler. He's one of the guys I really want to talk to.
I
So if
want to
you
talk
ever
to
get
Tom
him,
Platts.
Tom
Tom
Flats,
Platt. I
if
gotta
you ever,
hurry up though. I
if no,
got.
don't say that. Don't say that. You got to get a workout with, you got to get a workout with him, man.
I
Imagine he's
would.
at the New York Pro squat workout. I'd
Oh, I
probably
would.
die. I
I
hate leg
would.
day. My
I
legs are
love it.
still sore from Wednesday. I wasn't even, I mean, to you, it's probably not heavy. It was like 245 pound squat. I got like 8. But like, yeah, my legs are so sore from that. But if you ever get Jay Cutler on, man, hit me up. I'd love to talk to him, even just to say hi. I'd just be like, what's up? And then leave. But anyways, I don't want to keep you longer because I feel like I've overstayed my welcome.
I think
Uh,
we both have overstayed our welcome. This is live, so people are still watching us.
are there people still watching it?
Not that many as there. Once we stopped watching the Arnold, it kind of fell off.
How many viewers did you get, Matt? What was your peak? Do you know?
No, because it's going through Zoom, so I
Oh,
can't
I
really
see, I see, I see.
points.
Uh, when you weren't even, were you not like keeping track of it, I guess, when we were talking? I guess because we were looking at the pictures, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. What do you normally pull in though,
Oh
for your
man,
other
at the
ones?
Olympia, I got 26,000 views, not concurrent,
What?
but 26,000 views in
Jeez.
total on it
Oh my God.
on one of my
20.
Olympia stream. Not this time around, not this time around.
Oh
But I
man.
think there's so many guys streaming. Like EPZ was doing it.
Yeah.
Marks Max Muscle did it this morning. And the Arnold was free this year. That
Yeah.
definitely hurts my
Yeah.
my audience because I mean, why would you listen to me when you can go listen to Fuad and Dennis James?
Yeah.
More established names, but
For
you
me,
know.
I'm not like, I never really even considered streaming ever in my life for this because like with video games, that's basically based on your skill, right? With this,
Mhm.
it's based on the way that you can talk. And I've never been one to be the best at talking or make like coming up with things on the fly. I'm fine with talking on like a one-on-one basis or even with multiple people, but just I couldn't imagine doing it just watching something and commentating and interacting. I'm not the best with that, you know what I mean? So props to you for doing that. It's very impressive. But what is it called? Like I said earlier, I feel like I've overstayed my welcome. I feel bad because I know you have a lot of videos to do, and I know that I'm gonna probably end up going to sleep after this, and I'm not gonna get any videos put out today. I'll just do them in the morning, I guess.
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna stay up and at least
you're
put
gonna
something
stay
out
up.
tonight.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
put up. I have a lot of video footage. Maybe I'll just like talk over some video footage and get that out. Uh, just do it tonight. I don't know, but I also want to wait for some Gyoko footage. Not sure if it's up or not, but
I thought he blocked me earlier. I couldn't find him on
really,
Instagram.
are you
Yeah.
serious?
He
Gyoko?
did. He didn't. I thought he did
Okay,
because
I
some
was gonna
people.
say,
I don't always attribute the video I use, but I never remove the watermark. It's not
yeah,
like
me
I'm
neither.
hiding.
Yeah.
I'm hiding what I'm doing. But sometimes I just don't credit them in like the description or something because I forget about it or forget. I use one photo and I didn't know that photo was from him. I think I'm blocked by maybe one. I don't know.
Really?
I don't
I
really
don't
know.
think, I mean, I guess it's bad to say it because I guess I've never really like I never thought I'd get to the point where I'm at. I don't think I've ever once like credited photography. I've always kept the
No, I
watermark in there, but I've never like typed in the description where the photograph is from or anything because
I kind of do. I'm
I
like,
didn't think people
sources
were gonna see it, you know what I
Gilco.
mean? I didn't think people were gonna see it, you know what I mean? I just thought like, okay, this is a little fun thing for my
Yeah.
friends and family to see.
I think we're
Um,
breaking the law.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But what is it called? I've gotten copyright strike before for like there was a Dorian Yates 1993 posing routine that I took. I made like a video like top 5 most or top 10 most shocking bodybuilders because like I wanted a boost in my viewership. So I made a really whatever it's called, very
Unique.
ununique. Yeah, not
Yeah,
not unique
pretty by the
whatsoever.
books.
Pretty by the book video. And it was top 5. It got 10K views, but not a single cent from it because the Dorian Yates 1993 posing routine was in it. But didn't bother me. Got the viewership, which is all that mattered. Um,
Yeah.
but anyways, okay, this is the real
Yeah.
last time.
I'm hit,
Um,
I'm hitting the end button after this because
okay,
I'm
yeah,
not going to get off either.
yeah,
We can go on forever.
because it's just like I said, I love meeting people. I love talking, and especially when you have similar interests. I mean, that's just a great thing. Plus, I think everyone else that's doing like the similar content that we're doing, they're older than us. I guess we're in the same age range, so it's more relatable.
Yeah,
But I'm not
everyone in
sh
the sport is so old.
Yeah, I know. Not in a bad thing, but like, bro, we might be we're the next generation. I mean, who
We are
else is
quite
Who is
That's
this? There's no one else. Like
Nick.
literally,
Even Nick's old by now. He's in
he's
his
in his
30s.
30s. Yeah, and then
Marks is in his 40s.
he's in his
EPZ
40s.
EPZ is
He has a job. I know he does diving, right?
yeah, what
Uh,
a boomer.
yeah, he has a job. Oh my God. But no, I don't think I've ever spoken to him apart from in the group chat, but he seems really cool. Especially about the diving. I think he does diving. That sounds
Yes.
sick. So I'd love to get to meet him in the future.
I
Same
think
with,
we're all going to be on the podcast maybe his podcast maybe.
oh, really? Oh, I'd love that. See, the problem is with me, and I guess I'm a bad texter, so it's hard to convey what I'm trying to say, I guess. But let me tell you, so I go to college, obviously, and it's my roommate, he never leaves the room. So I never have my room free. And then on the other hand, there's really nowhere to go record. But I will make sure I find a place to go do it. Whenever, just let you guys let me know. I'll find a place and get it set up.
I think he said Monday or Sunday. You obviously probably couldn't do Sunday depending on the hours, but I think he said around Monday or Sunday. I mean, I hope there's not too many of us on there. I think podcasts work better when there's like four max,
Four
but
max. I think honestly, I think one-on-ones is my favorite. Four is definitely max. Four is definitely max. Because then five, it's like you're talking over everyone.
mhm.
Um, but yeah. Okay. That is the real last thing.
Let's end it right there. Jake, I
Okay.
appreciate you for coming on. We'll be in touch.
We will be in touch, and thank you very much for inviting me, man. I really appreciate it. This made my night. I mean, it was great. I got to talk about one of my favorite topics, basically.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
and thank you, and best of luck with all the videos you're gonna make, and thank you again. I
All
will see
right.
you. Have a great night.